John, what we just saw, though, obviously, if that indeed was a second aircraft that hit the southern tower of the World Trade Center, that obviously raises the specter of an intentional terrorist attack.
Some of the key suspects come to mind: Osama bin Laden. Who knows what?
Do I see somebody here? Hello? Oh, you're muted. You just want to listen for a while, Wanda, and just leave the music playing.
Damn it, I put my camera on instead of my mic. They reversed of how they are on Skype. That's very annoying. Yeah, I kind of jacked my back today. I was helping my sister do housework.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, if I would get up and move around a little more freaking often, and I wouldn't be prone to something like that. Could be just a fluke.
Yeah. Well, I said I haven't talked to you in a couple of days. I haven't been really around on Skype and whatever. I just decided to fire up a fucking hangout, and of course I thought of you to send you a message, let you know.
I'm glad you did. I was talking with Foodie a couple of days ago, and he's been wondering where you are. And
I know. Keep fucking missing him. I rang him fucking twice over the week. I know he hasn't been well either. So, you know, we've been kind of playing tennis with, you know, fucking messages back and forth. Yeah.
And you remember our last talk, and I was saying, yeah, Brian Smith was in that conversation. Well, Brian said he listened to the conversation. He goes, Wanda, I got to tell you, that wasn't me.
That was fucking weird.
And sure enough, it wasn't him. It was spelled differently, and was, well, I looked at it. I just saw the name Brian Smith, and I'm going, oh, I don't want to argue with Brian.
Got Bryce impersonators going around now, you see.
It was spelled Smith with an I and not a Y. So, because Brian goes, well, how was it spelled? And I saw the guy's name again, and I'm like, oh. That was a knucklehead.
That's crazy. So, did you just want to sort of relax and we play a few tunes or whatever? So,
how about that?
Yeah. I put the link out into the chat if anyone wants to join, you know, just to have.
I've got to drop you a fabulous. I don't know. It's a funny meme. It's hilarious. You can laugh your nuts off, and maybe you can post it and give everybody else a chill. I'll drop it to you on Skype.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Carry on, my friend.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm still trying to mess around with it. You know? It's like learning a new skill, you know what I mean? Messing around with the radio is great crack, but like Google Hangouts is a bit of a challenge. Audio visual. Television for the fucking...
Learn as you go.
Yeah. Just playing a few Simon Jack tunes because I know he won't go all nuts and go all copyright on me, you know.
Yeah.
And it's good for people to listen to it and maybe check him out, you know.
Yeah.
So Wanda, I just want to ask you a question as well. Did you check out all the hullabaloo with the new map with glowbusters and all that stuff.
Yes.
What did you make of it?
Drama, you know. I listen to, well, let me go onto your channel and turn my volume off because I got this echo and I know that's what it's from.
Yeah. I'll turn down the music here on my end as well.
Well, I know it's because I just got to check my email, get notification that you did a live thing, go there and quiet it down.
Yeah, but I sent you a message on Skype as well. Did you get that?
That's the one I got, and that's why I have to go to. But that brought me to your live event, not to your channel. You see what I'm saying?
All right.
Watch, I'll take care of this.
And even though you're subscribed, you don't get in a subscription. You know the message, like you know.
No, I do. I do. Yeah. But if I don't, there's the echo. It's gone.
All right.
See how that works?
Yeah.
I figured that out all on my own. I think.
Fair play to you.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. I'm a slow learner.
I like that. Mao, laugh my arse off.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. Hang on, I got it. That's a picture. Have you got a link to that picture, or I'll just upload it to my own Kiwi and put a link in?
I guess that's what you have to do because I just scored it off of the first book.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
I could put it on my website, but you're probably much quicker at that than I am.
Yeah, well, the lesser used Kiwi, you know. I've been neglecting my duties on my own website lately, but you know something, real life catches up with the fucking internet too.
Yes, it does, and at some point, I'm 10 years into it. It's like, really, you know, come on.
Yeah, and then I start hanging around Google Hangouts. You know, that's even fucking dodgy as well.
Oh well.
Only joking. I know, I'm only joking, but you end up fucking, you know, you don't know what's going to happen next. It's like the equivalent of fucking watching television all over again. So what? I'm going to have to throw my internet out next. I've been going on about that for a while, though, haven't I, Wanda? Gonna throw the internet away.
We all need a break. You know, it's just like, you know, I was talking with Zep Hopper, and he's like, man, you know, Tony Bell's not even posting anything anywhere anymore. And, and I'm like, well, you're hardly in a position to complain, are you?
Yeah, just keep quiet. Yeah.
He did the same thing. It's like every now and then you got to time out. This has been a long battle.
Yeah.
I'm still echoing.
I don't know how you're echoing.
You're hearing it, right?
No, I'm just hearing you normal and fine.
I might get
in the background. Hmm?
I'm getting a feedback. Oh, I think I. What am I?
You don't have a watch page opened by any chance?
Well, I've got the live Google page open, and I have the volume turned off. I have the volume muted on your YouTube page.
Yeah, well, that's grand.
But
you shouldn't have
8 people watching. Tinfoil Hatter. Hi, Tinfoil Hatter.
There's Tinfoil Hatter. He's everywhere. He's the everywhere man.
He is.
He's fucking in every chat. Well, when I say every chat, I'm only saying every chat I happen upon, he's in there. So call out to Tinfoil Hatter.
So what do you make of the Family Feud, for lack of a better term?
I haven't been secret about this for a long time. You know, I've been going on about the obvious psyop, the obvious. Hang on, I'll turn Simon Shack down. Maybe that might be causing the echo too.
I think
I love the music, but like just while we're chatting here, yeah, fuck's sake, Wanda.
Okay.
It's like, first of all, the announcement was heart-shaped Earth. We've got a new model going on, and Cammy, Bob's wife, was cutting out fucking continents and sticking them to beat the band. then it was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it? It was like, we're just giving you a taste of our concept. And
That's okay, because I just listen in for the ideas, because I mean, how many times have you presented with this model, that model? Nobody knows.
I know, none of us know at the end of the day. See, this is the funny part, and people forget this. But like, I'm at pains to say it every time. We don't know unless we're fucking taken up and shown, what's going on. We don't know. But then that doesn't stop us from speculating. And then
it's fascinating. It's fascinating. It's much more exciting than science or astronomy ever was.
Yeah, but here's the silly part. We've had, like, I know, that I've been following, Laurie and Lawrence, anybody else. I've been looking at everybody's fucking contributions, right? But what I sorry, I'm just moving away. Yeah, what I fucking, well, at the same time, it comes as no surprise, because we've seen this thing in the flat earth where you've got groups of people who just latch on to somebody, and then they're like fucking, I don't know, they don't do any bloody videos of their own or research into the flat earth or whatever, but yet they're there with every fucking enthusiasm and, oh, you're not in our group, and oh, you disagree with it. And then that's just like the foot soldiers of the chat box, the followers, the cheerleaders, I call them. And then we're looking at the so-called people out there, but this is the latest thing. They've been poo-pooing the likes of Lawrence, doing his triangular map and Pac-Man and LOL at the Pac-Man thing and all this. But as far as I'm concerned, his fucking, attempts at trying to figure out where we are is as legitimate as these other guys poo-pooing that whole concept while showing the Earth's circle, surrounded by the ice wall, which we've had for 2 years since, well, you can go back further, but like since, the Mark Sargent, that's what I call the Mark Sargent introduction into the flat earth. The other stuff goes back further, but at the moment I'm just talking about, this wave of where people, we had the hoax community and the type A, managed to fucking split people up there. And in the middle of that, well, towards the end of it, what happens? Flat Earth Clues comes out, done by a guy who never heard of September Clues, but yet he was a deep researcher. He said he looked into 9/11. How can you look into 9/11 in 2014 or 13, whatever he said he was doing, and not come across September Clues? That was the alarm bell for me. And even at the time I said it,
Well, and then he goes behind a paywall. Okay, now
that's what he did. Yeah, that's his latest trip behind the pay. No, don't forget the old, the hotel gate, bullshit with him and Orphan Red, and
which just tells you that it's just entertainment, really, right?
Yeah, but like a lot of people just accepted that, and I'm looking at that and I'm saying, this is no different from the fucking mainstream media bullshit that we're telling everybody to switch off from.
Right.
But as everything goes, it has a continuum of its own. After they kick the ball rolling, you got enough people in there behind it. And then you've got all the other stuff. And then it just turns into drama. And you're basically got the same stuff. You've got the likes of your man A4. He's well known for freaking out in the hoaxer community, all that bullshit. And that was the drama, and that was the psyop, and that was the fucking thing. And now it's translated into the flat earth. They've divided off into different hangouts, and it's the same old, really.
Well, you remember a conversation we had on Skype with a bunch of people not too long ago, and I made the comment, this is just, people are just making careers. at this point. That's all they're doing. They're making careers out of this letter.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, I don't want to mention any names really, but I just want to question, when somebody goes behind a paywall, I mean, there's really nothing I've ever found behind a paywall that I can't find through my own research. So this,
Yeah.
I really don't understand it. I mean, it's to me, it would be cultish to. I mean, every now and then, I paid to listen to Crow 777, but at some point, I'll get past that.
Yeah. There's only so many people you can pay money to. Like, fuck's sake.
I paid for Veritas for a while, and then I get over it.
I put plenty of fucking, rasher sandwiches on fucking Rence's plate, I bet you, over the years.
Exactly.
And the same with Red Ice, which, no.
But all I've learned is that I haven't really learned anything that I wouldn't have learned anyhow, just by following the things that are.
Yeah. Bloody hell, John LeBon in my chat box. That's bloody nice. And Flat Earth is a cult, pretty much. Yeah, but like that's a broad sweeping statement.
It is.
But yeah, man, the link is up there if you want to join.
Because I think it's a reality.
Wanda, you're kind of drifting in and out. I don't know what it is with your audio.
Goddamn echo! What the hell?
Yeah, it's very strange. Normally you're nice and loud and.
I was the last time. Okay, am I? No, I'm going in and out.
Yeah, you're dropping in and out.
All right, let me do a sound check.
Maybe if you drop out a hangout and come back in, that sometimes remedies it in this thing. Yeah, just try that and see. Yeah. So anyway, anybody else here? Yeah. 8 people watching. That's pretty weird. No, 7 people. Someone's left. And yeah. Tim Matter, there you are, Wanda.
Yeah, I think I'm still doing it.
No, you're fine now. You're perfect.
Well, then there was a capital suggestion.
Your lovely tones have come in. And John LeBon is in here as well. Fucking hell.
I certainly am. Can you hear me?
It's a bloody...
sounds fantastic.
It's a conspiracy, John. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm grand, man.
That's good. How are you, Wanda?
I'm beginning to get my voice back. And doing well.
Yeah, I just clicked on my subscriptions list, and there's Delquar doing a live show about Flat Earth, and I thought, well, I'd come and say hello, see what's cracking.
I think that's pretty awesome. We were just discussing paywalls. Well, you can either say it right now, or you're going to hear it when you play it back.
I can't even do a bloody hangout without people finding out about it.
Well, yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm only joking, but yeah, that's the thing. We were just talking about that. It developed into that.
We were also discussing all the infighting, and it's like, why does it have to be cultish? Why does there have to be a following? I just listen to everybody. I mean, I listen to everybody. I listen to Morgal. I still listen to Jeff Stewart. I still listen to Matt Parland and Laurie and Lawrence. And, well, I don't listen to Patricia Steer because I never have. And,
Can I ask you a question, Wanda?
Yes.
If you weren't listening to these people, whether you spend 5 hours or 10 hours a week or whatever it is, if you weren't listening to them, what would you be doing instead?
Well, arguing on Facebook a lot with people, which is what I do. I get on with my life. I have this stuff in the background.
Here's why I ask, because we all need entertainment, right? Like, we all need to relax every now and then.
We do.
And I think most people who are following these shows, it's purely entertainment. And then I think within that group of people, there's varying degrees of belief or adherence to flat Earth as an actual physical representation of the Earth. And then there's the social side and the rest of it. But most of these people, they're never going to do anything productive with a single thing they've heard, right? And I wonder, because I know for a fact, Wanda, I've spoken with you off air before, I know that you're wise to a whole bunch of things that do affect us every day. And I wonder sometimes if we're allowing ourselves to get distracted by this flat Earth online scene.
No. It keeps me up to date on what's new. I don't want to miss anything because there's some great minds out there, and they're discovering these amazing things, and none of them are.
What are they discovering? What are they discovering?
That it seems likely that there might be a dome.
Really? Based on what?
Based on there has to be a vacuum of some sort, and it does appear when you have you been checking out Crow? No, I'm not saying I believe any of it. I'm just saying I'm finding the topics that the way they take them apart and develop them. It's fascinating, and I'm not saying I believe any particular thing, which I don't. Well, I do kind of think that the Earth is not a spinny ball. For certain, it's not spinning, and if it's a ball, we live on the top of it. So I need to.
Yeah, but like we all established 12 months ago that heliocentrism was a fraud. But what new has been discovered in the 12 months since then? Absolutely nothing.
That space might be water, which I thought was like totally ridiculous when I first heard it. But then I had a friend of mine that was going, well, I don't think you're being fair with Crow 777, because I was like, that's just too silly. Space is water. This is take on what it looks like, the astronauts are swimming in a pool. And he goes, well, I just don't think you're being fair. So I started listening, and to be fair to his saying I wasn't being fair, I really wasn't being fair, because it's very interesting. It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's not. No one's learning anything, are they? Not about the shape of the Earth, anyhow. Like that's not what these people are doing.
That's not what a lot of people are doing. But you can't force anybody to wake up. That's the realization I've come to. I just slow and steady put my knowledge out there. Would you like to hear my latest?
Sure.
It's short. Okay, George Soros. Okay, here's my theory: is they need to put a face. That we can focus on a face, focus our anger on a face. And the name George Soros, okay, when I hear the word Soros, I hear sorrows, and George abbreviated is Geo. So doesn't his name really mean World Sorrows? It's spellcrafting, and it's, a Freemasonic calling card.
So what you're saying is the first three letters of his name are like Geo meaning Earth, and then Soros, sorrow as in woes or badness. Like badness, that sadness for the world.
Yeah, world sorrows.
Yep.
Jokes. Yeah. Because they always leave a calling card with all of their, fake events, like Lavoy Finicum, the militia guy that they tell us that got shot. Okay, well, you look at the name Finicum, okay, and this is crude, but, it came from the mind of Freemasons. I'm just decoding it, if you will. I don't even like that word decode, but, all right, when you come, you're finished. So you're shot. Get it? It's like a Freemasonic sick joke.
Yeah, I get you. I wouldn't put it past them.
Right. And this is, this is a way to teach people that they can sort of pull this together if they just put some thought into it and think about how am I being scammed instead of believing every story that comes down the pipe.
Yeah, all the world's a stage. All the men merely players. They have their entrances and their exits. So it's all a big show. I'm pretty certain of that.
Yep.
Hey, here's a question for you. How far back do you think history goes? History is in real history.
Oh my God. I don't know. You know, I'm starting to not even believe we were ever cavemen.
Of course we weren't cavemen. That's ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
You don't still believe in human evolution, do you?
Come on, John. Now, come on.
Do you ever listen to that New Earth chick? You know, who does the ancient megaliths and things like that? New Earth.
I've heard of her one day. Yeah, they do some strange stuff.
Some of her stuff is really, really fascinating. It's really amazing, and it's not the things that we're learning in school. We're learning all the mundane things that they want us to know.
I would recommend you look into someone, John, if you haven't heard of him already. Now, this is one thing, right? You know.
Please don't say flamenco. Please don't say flamenco.
No, I was going to say somebody else altogether. But
Heard of flamenco?
You know, it's one of the, it's somebody that other people kind of go, oh, he's a shill or whatever. But the way I look upon it is, he's got some fucking information as well, and you know, I'm not going to be deterred. We saw enough of that in the early days of the Flat Earth on Fakeologist, where people were just flipping out and saying, don't even go there, don't even look into it. Now, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't, well, you could say I would have had 2 years that I haven't wasted. But then in another way, I would have had, you know, I wouldn't have had 2 years that I've been able to fucking see this thing develop, you know? And to me, it just adds, you know, just adds to my learning curve of, you know, everything else, you know, that's, you know, it just adds up to it. Do you remember that, John, where people were actually saying, don't even look into it. They're all shills. They're all fucking psyops. You know?
They're going to hurt the truth movement. It's to discredit the truth movement. We've got this great truth movement, and any day now, the mainstream is going to take us seriously, and we can't say anything that the masses don't want us to say. Oh, by the way, JFK wasn't really killed, and nothing on TV is real, but we can't say anything the masses won't believe. So, truth movement, we can't talk about the shape of the earth. They'll think we're crazy.
Yeah, well, that's talking about the general people out there in the internet, and then if you kind of focus in more towards what used to be the hoaxer community, there's still a few of them out there, you know, fucking ramming on. That seemed to get co-opted and pointed into that direction of the, you know, the flat Earth and all that. So like, I saw that there. I saw the breakdown in the so-called hoaxing community, the people that were pointing out Sandy Hook as if, and like, these are the same people who turn around and tell you that like 3,000 people died and, you know, in 9/11, but yet Sandy Hook, you know, is a hoax, you know. But anyway, that's just another little part of it. But I seen that transition of people. And, you know, this is where we're at now, you know. Well, this is where we were at like 2 years ago. The whole thing was opening up and people were looking into it, and, you know, people were doing shows and talking about it, and it was all well and good. But, you know, we see what's happened now. You know, it's just like, you know, a complete, I don't know. I don't even want to even try to describe, you know, what I think is going on, because it's just too ridiculous, maybe, to comprehend, or to contemplate, I should say, not to comprehend.
Well, you and Wanda have been doing this for a lot longer than me, so I'm not here to give you two any advice. But for me, one of the things I've learned over the last little while is that most of the people here, and I mean the vast majority, I'm talking well over 90% of people who are involved in this, don't really care about the truth, and they don't really care about their fellow man. That's the reality. In their mind, they care about the truth, and in their minds, they care about their fellow men. And they're not even necessarily bad people. They're just hopelessly conditioned people who will probably never become anything close to the humans that they were supposed to be when they were born, right? And it's not even their fault. They were conditioned even while they were in the womb. They were sprayed with, ultrasound, and as soon as they got out of the womb, they were swaddled and given chemicals all over their bodies, and they've been turned into the gamma or the epsilon people that Aldous Huxley spoke about in Brave New World. It's not even their fault that they are this way. That's how they are. And once you come to understand that most of the people in this scene are utterly hopeless, don't really care about the truth, don't really care about their fellow man, it changes everything. Because now it's not your fault to help them. You can try, but all you're going to do is upset yourself if you go out of your way to do it. So put the information out there, put the reason out there, show them how you've improved your life. If they don't want to follow you, if they don't want to follow that basic idea of here's how to improve your understanding of the world, that's up to them, and there's nothing that you can do about that. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah, well, you see, John, we have the initial thing, like when you find out about stuff, and I'm going back years now at this stage, but you learn pretty quick. You're trying to tell your next door neighbor or your family, it's ridiculous, right? Now, I already experienced that before the whole flat earth thing. They already think I'm fucking a bit weird or, eccentric or whatever you want to call it. But I can understand how people are still fucking, forget about, like, just rushing around trying to earn the money to pay for a fucking roof over their head that they shouldn't have to pay for in the first place, right? And that's not being a communist or anything. That's just pointing out the bullshit, right? But then they're also completely been bombarded. Like us all, we've all. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how certain people fucking just, like, what's waking them up. We all awake to various things, and then we progress there, and we wake up to other things. But at the same time, you might be aware of something, but at the same time, you could still be fucking brainwashed by it, and that's what we seem to be in, this fucking sea of ideas, other people, and all the baggage. We all have their baggage. We all have our fucking, indoctrination, brainwashing. We start to wake up out of it, and then there's various people, and then you can say about shills or people that are already there. I've already stated this before, that the very fact that we're talking on this internet, right? It's a great telecommunications. It's a great way of meeting people, and it's a great source of info if you can even believe the info. But at the same time, they have sucked people into that forum. It's like another place to fucking maybe I'm going on too much about it, but I'm just trying to explain it the best I can. And everybody has their own thing, but you see, this is the thing. Some people just latch on to a particular idea, or they plant their flag in there, and there you have your dichotomies, your different groups, and it's no different from everything else. Before the internet, people got together. They didn't like what the elites were doing, or the government, whatever, and they get together, and people would be sent in there, and the best way to fucking lead your opposition, or the best way to fucking defeat your opposition, is to lead it, as is bandied about so many times. So
well, that's not the way to defeat your opposition. You want to control your opposition. Do you know
that's
what I mean?
what I'm saying.
They don't need to
Control it.
They don't need to defeat us. They've already got us defeated, man. Like, look at us. Look at people today, man. It's
sad. It is sad.
They're in complete control. I know.
It is. But, we're kind of left with whatever intellect we have, and we're sitting here talking about stuff. And individually, we have to fucking deal with the day-to-day of this. I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that comment on YouTube, and their little icons and their little, they're fucking, people, allegedly. And, I often wonder, how many of them are real? How many of them are actually having to deal with the day-to-day stuff, and then actually get on the internet and talk to other people about what's going on, After.
Well, I'll let you know on something. Right? I do a live show on Nice or on Orlando or whatever. Suppose it gets 30,000 views, right? 30, comma 3 more zeros, right? 30,000. If I check my YouTube stats, it tells me the average view length of that 30,000. It's only a few minutes. So most of those 30,000 are from autoplays where someone's watched another video, my videos come up, and then within a few seconds or a few minutes, they've clicked off. So if you do the maths, I've done the maths a few times now, I would estimate out of 30,000 views of that live coverage, you're probably talking maybe a couple thousand people are watching most or all of that show, right? A couple thousand. It's not that many. There's not that many people involved in this scene at all, which is one of the reasons why so many jokers and clowns can rise to the top of it. People who give no new information, show no reason or evidence or logic, show nothing that would give you any reason to think anyone should listen to them, but they rise to the top. It's easy for shit to rise to the top when there's not much there, you see.
Yeah, and you know something, man? I was very surprised when you started doing them. Here's the latest fucking, false flag, or is it real kind of thing. And I was scratching my head, honestly, when you did them. Is there any reason, why you did them? Because I thought that you were sort of beyond that after doing, your video on baby hoaxes and all that, bullshit that we can see, Was that just a gauge? Was that just to gauge the interest in what was going on, or I don't know.
Yeah, so I explained this when I was on that Fakeologist audio chat, and I had to explain it twice because somehow Ab or Tom Delpit didn't understand me the first time, so I had to explain it the second time. When you cover the baby hoaxes live, you get bigger audiences and you get subscribers, right? So just in the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've gotten like 400 or 500 extra subscribers, mostly from covering those baby hoaxes. And how many of those subscribers are willing or able to understand the toddler hoaxes or the kiddie hoaxes? I don't know. But at least by covering the baby stuff, you get more people in. You see, it's like you catch all.
Yeah. You actually proved another point there. They're not going to learn anything if they're only going to watch it for fucking 2 or 3 minutes. And then out of all the thousands of actual listeners, they're only listening to a few minutes, so they're not even getting it. Maybe
the people who are subscribing will be the people who are listening for more, won't it? Like the people who just watched it because of autoplay and then clicked off, they're not going to subscribe. But the people who watched it and then enjoyed it, they're the ones who will subscribe. So they might be capable of understanding the high-level hoaxes. See?
Yeah.
Yes. I notice a lot of people watch and they don't comment ever.
Yeah.
You don't know where they're coming from, but I think that a lot of people are afraid. Maybe that's just born out of fear, but they're trying to get as much information they can about the world around them. But who knows? I could be wrong, because people are evil. Everything you are saying about people, it is true. I've learned the hard way. I've learned through trusting too many people. Being pie in the sky optimistic, and I'm not optimistic, but what's an A word?
You're just I know what you mean. You're being you're
rose-colored glasses on, wanting to believe the best about humanity, and well, frankly, I don't think that it's there. Maybe I had to.
Yeah, I think one of the toughest aspects of all of this is having to understand that your friends and your family and people you care about are hopelessly conditioned, right? It's for me, it's not even so much, because I know some people, they try and tell their family, oh, did you know about this, and their family kind of shut them down. I've never had that. I've had something a little bit worse in the sense of I don't even really talk about this stuff with them, friends and family mostly. It's more me just sitting there when they're talking about this thing on TV or this hobby of theirs that they got from TV or this belief that clearly comes from TV, and understanding the conditioning, almost watching as a third person, that's difficult. Like, these are people you care about, and you can see the Pavlovian conditioning that's been performed on them. That's difficult, but I think over time you do become desensitized to it. Like, you do learn to accept it and try and lead a happy life. You know, I think so.
Well, you know, it's even fucking optimistic, Wanda, is what you were looking for there. And I like to tend to think that I'm optimistic as well, but sometimes I could just get fucking, you know, pissed off with everything that, you know, you see what's going on. Especially when you see the despondency of people who maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago you were telling them and they're grand. And then they turn around, like, you know, a day or two later and they're going, isn't that terrible what's going on there in France? And
Yes.
no, do you not remember what I told you?
Right. You thought you brought them along, and then they're just like you said nothing.
But they honestly, I swear to fact, they just seem to go back, and they just go back into the television. They go back into. It's like they keep on, you know, they keep on fucking bringing this stuff. You know, they take it in, and you know.
And then you don't know if you can't trust them, or if they genuinely are that thick.
I think they just genuinely believe. You know, it's on the television. There's a guy in a white coat telling you about stuff, and you know, incorporated with everything else, they just like slip back into it.
But don't forget my ex-family. I mean, I'm convinced. I don't want to tell tales out of school or anything, but I'm convinced they have an involvement in this. You know, that they're a part. Well, not my ex-husband, but you know, definitely members of his family are knowingly a part of this.
Well, they're the who knows type people, you know.
Well, I know I got tossed out of the family quicker than you can say. And given a choice, I could stay in the family if I got about this, you know, waking up nonsense. You know, after, you know, being in the family 17 years and being told, you know, how much I'm loved, how intelligent they think I am, and, you know, we vacation together every year, this, that, and the other thing, see each other several times a year, even though we live in different states. And then next thing you know, I'm awake, and everybody's trying to tell me everything, all my perceptions are not, you know, as I'm perceiving them. And all of a sudden, what happened to this, you know, you all think I'm smart stuff, you know, they just went out the window. And, you know, subtly trying to change my mind, and then I'm delivered basically by my ex-husband an ultimatum that, you know, why can't I just forget all of this? You know, we could continue to have our happy marriage, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but if I won't, then, you know, that's the end of the marriage. Basically, handed an ultimatum just like that. And while I'm living with my choice, because for me, it's unconscionable. And I said, how can you go along? How do you pretend? How do you do that? And he goes, well, and he said, well, I'm afraid. And he's a very honest man. I think the world of my ex-husband. He's a very honest man, and he just straight up said, well, I'm afraid, because I know he's a decent man, but, you know, people go along for fear is a really good motivator. But you need to face your fears, I think. But we're all cut of a different jib, I guess.
Yeah, well, we just got to keep on getting on with our stuff, you know. Fucking, it doesn't help then when, you know, you're looking at, you know, the latest stuff on the internet.
Well, this infighting with the fighter, I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you a little story. Would you like to hear it? Okay, did anybody hear that hillbilly diatribe that he went on against the wife of Jeff Stewart?
Yeah, well, that's all that drama stuff. But
was that one of the most filthiest ongoing things that I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth? It's there are ways to disrespect somebody without being that filthy and foul-mouthed and filthy-minded about it. And
yeah, but why do you pay attention to these people, Wanda? I don't get it.
Like, I didn't pay attention to it. I shut it right off, okay? But then I but I do follow these people because every now and then there's this guy that used to come on Jeff Stewart that just would say the most fascinating things. And I was like, wow, great, because I'm up for learning, you know, and sometimes you got to filter through a lot of craparola, but, you know, then there's some gems in there, okay, and I just store them. So, but in any event, I heard that, and I just shut it down because I'm like, you know, I don't need to hear that kind of crap. I mean, you just kept going on and saying the most raunchy things that no man should ever say to a woman. I don't care how angry she gets you. So, anyhow, you know, Jeff Stewart was coming out saying things about him, but he didn't repeat, to his credit, he didn't repeat the conversation because it was very filthy and very nasty. And I just made a simple comment like, you know, because he said he's bleeding subscribers because, you know, of Jeff's attack on him. And I said, no, you know, I actually heard that diatribe, and if he's bleeding subscribers, it's because of the words that came out of his mouth. It was filthy and it was beyond the pale. And I said, you know, and then I made a comment about cigarettes, although I didn't mention them. I just said, you know, anybody who would get that guy's back after the words that came out of his mouth, you know, really is like lacking a moral compass or something along those lines, right? So then I get this email that Jeff Stewart must have taken down instantly, and it's from Nathan Oakley, and it's asking me, and I've still got the email, so I, you know, there was a reply to my comment on the YouTube, the comment I left, saying, Wanda, what planet are you on? And then the next thing I know, Jeff Stewart comes on and replies with, to his credit, he just stopped me and said, Nathan Oakley, I'm not involving you in this. You've never said anything bad about me that I know of. We're both fighting for the truth, whether your truths are the same or not. I'm not after you unless you're part of the PSYOP, and I don't think you are. Okay, and I was actually going to click on it and read, you know, the comment from the start to the finish, but I pretty much laid it out for you. But I did click on it, and the whole thing is now a private video, so it's completely gone. But now I gotta wonder, first of all, Antonio Subaretz, I'm sorry, but anybody who can say the things that that hillbilly said, I mean, I wouldn't think anything of value would come out of the guy's mouth after hearing it. And then, you know, they're making it sound like it's Jeff Stewart's problem. No, I'm sorry, that's beyond the pale of being disrespectful. You can shut people down without coming anywhere near what he said. And then for Nathan Oakley to, you know, question my sanity, if he didn't hear that diatribe, well, okay, maybe that's understandable, but I made myself pretty clear that he said some disgusting things that shouldn't be uttered by a man to a woman, particularly somebody's wife. So why is he asking me what planet am I on? Like a lunkhead.
Why are you paying these people, like, time is so precious, why would you sit around talking about this?
No, it's not. I'm saying it because it happened and it makes me wonder, what are these people at the end of the day? Because, you know, when people let out things like that, that's showing their natures. That's showing their natures. I would be very shocked to get that type of response from you on a comment. You know what I'm saying? And that would tell me something about yourself.
Wanda, can I ask you something, right?
Yes, certainly.
Look, you're not on the fucking stand, and, you know, JLB, relax there. We're not putting anybody on the stand.
Right, I'm just defining what I'm seeing in people's character flaws.
I want to say this as well, because I think this is very important. Right, one day, you know me how many fucking years now at this stage? It must be 3 or 4 at least, you know. And we know of each other before that, right? Out there in the internet. Not just confined to this little corner of the internet, might I say, heavily controlled corner of the internet called YouTube and Google, right? And that's the thing, right? I've always been going on about the fucking PSYOP, and since I found out about media fakery and everything else, and, you know, I mightn't be like certain other people who just dismiss the whole thing, right? Just go, that's a PSYOP, I'm not listening to it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If I did that, I wouldn't have found out other information about stuff. You know, like, I call it what you like, but there's a cast of characters out there, And even if they have a smidgen of fucking information, it's at least it's worth looking at, right? And that's to answer your question as well, John. Why would we spend so much time on it? Why would I,
What else am I
you
doing?
know, why is Dell fucking here? You know, basically question. And it literally is that. Fucking gleaming a bit of information, but also witnessing, right? All I can say is the internet, for starters, has been given to us. So we come up to the internet and we go into it, and then we find all this stuff, and then we're looking at it, you know. And I've been saying for a long time, Wanda, I even apologize to some people, but at the same time, you know, I can't help it. But I think the majority of this stuff is scripted. And if you want to go back to the latest thing with Hillbilly, right, who appeared about a month ago or maybe 6 weeks ago, and fuck's sake, who wouldn't love Hillbilly? I remember Jed Clampett when I was a child. Where did I see that? On television. Just the same place I saw the moon landings, and just the same place that I've been seeing everything else up along. So, for starters, you've got another character, right, in this thing. And then the Jeff Stewart character has been around for a while, right? And he's like the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket. He just rips off and he's freaking out. There's always a freak out because there's always somebody doing something, and that's the freak out.
Oh, he's not
suppose it's all
causing trouble.
Suppose it's all scripted. What's wrong with that? I mean, people are going to sit around and watch them. So suppose it's scripted. What's wrong with that? People sit around, they watch them, they talk about them, just like a soap opera. If you're going to pay attention to it, even if you think it's scripted, why shouldn't it be scripted? Why not? Who cares?
Well,
if this is just entertainment, and people will watch for the drama.
John, I'd actually say at the end of the day, then, why would any of us be here passing comment at all? You know? Because
it's for entertainment. It's purely for entertainment, and it's this isn't entertainment. There's truth involved. What truth is there? Sitting around talking about personalities, there's no truth involved in that.
No.
Well, I'm talking about personalities because this helps me differentiate between who is, you know, genuine and who isn't. So I think that Nathan Oakley, I can pretty much cross off the list, and so can I Subarex, and so can I Jeff Stewart, because, you know, he's been not, well, you know what, not even want to say that. I think he's just a little more passionate and impetuous, although I've seen him causing trouble too. But, you know, it's, I don't know how I say this.
John.
And so what is entertainment? We're either watching that or we're watching Night Court or some crap, you know, whatever. Judge Judy or something. I don't know. Why not?
Well, exactly. Why not? It's just entertainment. But what I think is happening here is people they're telling themselves that it's about the truth. Oh, I listen to these people because I want good information. No, if you want good information, you look for it yourself. You listen to these people for drama, for entertainment.
Yeah. No, hang on, John. I still think that there's more than drama and entertainment here.
Yes.
Now, I already said earlier on, you've got the cheerleader groups and all that. So you've got people there. They're being entertained. Right? The thing is, we're trying to fucking glean some kind of information out of this, and it's like you're squeezing a fucking orange, and there's very little coming out now at this stage.
You know what? I know how to say it. I know how to say it, if I may.
All right, go on.
Like, there are people in place. Well, there are people out there who are definitely trying to give us good information from what they're learning, and they're learning too, and they're not pretending. They're not just learning it too, but they're trying to tell you. Then there are people out there who are there to distract you from that learning.
And we're trying to figure out which is which.
There's a discernment there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the sensible thing to do then just to be to focus on the information rather than the personalities and the drama?
Well, right.
The best way to gain good information is to focus on the information. And most of these people don't provide any information. They just make claims. Crazy, ridiculous, wild claims.
Well, I'm making a claim, but I can also back it up with emails that I received in my inbox.
Yeah, you can, but the people you're listening to can't. I mean, look at Bob, right? Look at Bob from Blowbusters.
This is a tool I use to discern up from down, you know. This
Sure,
is
but you
just
can do that
how
by yourself. You don't need to pay attention to these characters for their information. You can just
Well,
find your own information.
I wouldn't have really known that about, if I didn't hear that conversation, I wouldn't have known how filthy, and useless Hillbilly is, and I wouldn't have known that Superet's, would defending him, and now Nathan Oakley.
But
Now
that's
that
the
tells me
personality stuff. That's the personality stuff. There's no truth in that. That's just personality stuff.
You know,
Well,
So the truth about the
perhaps.
world,
I would even go
Perhaps.
one step further. This is all the internet stuff. We are looking at these people, and let's have a little joke here. The preponderance of fucking evidence has shown that this whole plethora of characters and people and hangouts, they are all fucking contrived. I fucking hate to say it, right? I'm on a hangout now, and JLB and Wanda is here, and I'm sure all the other contrived fucking hangouts that I've just sort of said are going, oh, JLB is in Delquois, so that'll be another fucking part of the drama. But what I'm saying is, the whole fucking thing was set up, right? Fucking, what's his name, right? He never heard of
why would they have to set it up?
No.
We've got people who tell themselves they're here for truth.
Man,
who
we're
sit
sitting on it.
voluntarily in hangouts talking about personalities and drama.
Yeah,
Why
but
would they have to set
we're
any of this up?
we are sitting in a platform that's already been contrived and already been made up by the so-called military-industrial complex or whatever you're having yourself, right? We can all point our fingers. But the fact is, we are on a communication web that has been put there. It's not, none of us invented this, and it's there, right? So when all these fucking people appear and all these characters appear, and then there's the likes of people like I'm going to say it myself honestly, right? I know myself, I'm not a fucking psyop dude, and I know Wanda's is not, and yourself, John, right? I've seen you since like back in the day when you were doing the original, Baller Earth Skeptic shows and stuff, right? But there's a fucking there's a sort of a layout there already, a platform that's already laid out there, and it's catching people from every
I
angle.
think it's caught you and Wanda. I think you and Wanda are still caught in it.
I'm not doing anything I don't want to do.
Well, man,
Exactly. That's the whole point. No one's. If there are people out there who want to spend their evenings watching other people in Google Hangouts talk about the shape of the Earth, that's up to them. It's just entertainment. What's the problem?
No,
Because I
this
don't
is-
agree that it's just entertainment.
man, I don't think I'm caught in it. What? Right, I might be caught up in the whole fucking, psyop, but I'm not caught up in like, just watching television and commenting on the individual dramas.
How's this any different to watching TV?
I fucking think that all the individual dramas, all these protagonists, per se, are all part of the fucking psyop.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. You and I could sit here talking about last night's episode of MasterChef, and I could say, look, these MasterChef participants, they're actually actors, okay? And then you could say, oh, no, they're not actors. I think they're legitimate. And we could sit here for an hour talking about it. What difference does it make? That's what Flat Earth is. Maybe these people are paid to be here. Maybe they're not. It's just entertainment. Why are people who think they're here for truth sitting around talking about entertainment like it matters? It doesn't matter. It's
I don't know.
It's all a fake pony show. It's
Okay.
nonsense.
It doesn't matter to you, and that's
Get
your opinion.
viewers, man.
It matters to me.
Yeah, and you let it matter to you, and that's up to
Yeah,
you.
I want
like
it
you
to
said.
matter to me. Okay. It does matter to me. I'm cool with that. I feel like I'm learning things. It's a crap load more exciting than anything I ever learned in school.
I know people who watch MasterChef and they tell themselves they watch it because they're learning how to make new recipes. They never cook at home. They rarely cook at home, right? But all MasterChef. Today we learn how to make a new vegetable lasagna. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're not watching it for that. You're watching it for entertainment. That's why you love this character and you hate that character. You hope that this judge doesn't get renewed for the next season because he's too nasty. It's all nonsense. It's all just emotions and drama for the masses.
I know that's nonsense, and you're being led by your emotions.
Yeah, I cook my own dinners. I don't watch MasterChef. So, you know, let's just get back here to okay. So we're all on the internet, right?
Right.
We're all on the internet for starters, right? And that's the one thing. We're on the internet. So, you know, we're all entangled in the net, in the web, right? And it's really good when I see fucking Joseph Turcotte in my chat box. I think, right, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think he's a real bot, what do you call it, a letter bot. He just comes out with sentences. I think he's an experimental bot. I'm only joking. That, you know, great way to kill a conversation. But
hey, there's one topic I wanted to get your opinions on, guys, real quick. I'm working on this video at the moment about Nikola Tesla. What do you guys think of Nikola Tesla?
I think it's a fraud.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're always given the lone shooter. We're always given, okay, in all of the Republican Party, you've got who is the good guy? Ron Paul. All of the Democratic Party, who's the good guy? Dennis Kucinich. You know, it's so you've got all of the people that are in control of all this, that, and the other thing, and then you've got Tesla over here. You know, this lone standout, and then all you get for evidence of anything that he ever did is this thing you can put your hand on and it makes your hair stand up, right? It tosses out sparks, a Tesla coil. That's all you get.
So here's why I ask, because a lot of people in the so-called alternative media, they talk about Nikola Tesla and his free energy was suppressed, and they tried to stop him, and especially people who believe in Judy Woods, they're like, oh, because Judy Woods talks about this particle beam, right, or a direct energy weapon, and even she references, or even her supporters reference people like Nikola Tesla as like, oh, it's his weapon, right? So I started looking into this, and it turns out that Nikola Tesla, the story is so obviously fabricated, it's ridiculous. Like, I've been doing this research into it hours and hours, and I find myself thinking, this has only taken me a few hours to work out where this whole bullshit story came from, who's pushing it, etc., etc. How can all of these supposed researchers believe the Tesla story? They're obviously not doing any research into it,
and they're not doing
these people.
Yeah. See, I'm more like you, because I don't believe, I need to be convinced something is real anymore. I believe nothing right off the bat.
Like this Tesla guy, the main guy who, one of his main spruikers is a guy called Mark Seifer, right? Now, Mark Seifer doesn't have a degree in history. What he has his qualifications in is graphology. Now, graphology isn't forensic handwriting investigation. It's looking at people's handwriting to tell their emotion or their emotional state, right? It's a pseudoscience, and this same guy is also into things like Carillion photography. Well, who else is into Carillion photography? Your mate Bob from Globebusters, right? It's all this pseudoscientific bullshit. Anyway, Mark Seifer, he's the one who published this book called Wizard about Nikola Tesla, and now you see him popping up in mainstream articles saying, oh, Tesla did this, Tesla did that. If you look at Seifer's work, Seifer says that, oh, Tesla developed this space beam. But where did Seifer get his information about Tesla's space beam? From a guy called Puarich. Now, this Puarich guy also claims a whole bunch of other crazy stuff, including that he developed a patent to drive cars on water, right? More pseudoscientific nonsense. Then if you read further into him, there's like a Red Ice article about, oh, Puarich, the Rockefellers tried to suppress him because his water is like, it's all crap. It's all nonsense. No one double checks it.
John, man, Wanda, there is such thing as free energy, right? Do you know what it is?
No.
Right? You are a free energy unit. John, you're a free energy unit. And I'm a free energy unit. Right? Self-sufficient, We have to feed ourselves, and we expel our energy. And who's the recipient of our free energy? Because it's not us.
Well, it's not exactly free then, is it?
No, it is free, Wanda. It's free. It's who's paying for it? Who pays?
But it's an energy in, energy out system, even by nature, you know.
Right. We have to pay for our own food. We have to, you know,
Well, yeah.
after ourselves. We have to pay for our own homes. But yet there's an external force out there who taxes us and takes our energy away from us. So we're the free energy.
Well, they're working on free, that's for sure.
No, I don't think you're getting me. We're
Well,
all
no, I am getting you.
free energy people.
Well, they're paying us a pittance, so it's not exactly free, but they're working on free. That's what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
You're talking about different things. Delquar's trying to say that the people who run the show, they're using us as free energy, a little bit like the human cells in the Matrix. And what Wanda's talking about is them actually having like a physical free energy machine that they can use for free energy, which some people say they might already have, and they're just charging us for electricity. What I'm talking about here is the way that people will believe stories without double-checking so much as a single source. So if you've got people with a 10,000 view episode of Globebusters and they're trying to tell you that Nikola Tesla had suppressed energy weapons, then you know you're listening to people who don't actually double-check the first reference of their claims. Then you have to ask yourself, why are you listening to these people? And the answer is because it's entertainment. And that's what I was saying when I first got here. The majority of people who are here, they're just here for entertainment. And that's fine. That's fine. We all need entertainment. So long as we're honest with ourselves why we're listening to these people. It's for entertainment. And that's where YouTube's really powerful, because we're like, oh, I'm on YouTube. They're on YouTube. They're people just like me. Or are they just like me? You see, like, we can relate to them more than we can people on television, because television, they're actors and actresses and they live in Hollywood or whatever. So we can't relate to them. But they're on YouTube, so we can relate to them now. This is real. This is people just like me talking about the shape of the Earth. This is real. It's just entertainment. It's nonsense. 12 months ago, the spinning ball Earth was debunked. 12 months later, people are still repeating the same fallacies and the same nonsense. They're not going anywhere. They don't want to go anywhere. They're happy where they are. This is just entertainment for them. It's that simple.
Oh, I know something. Eclipses were just explained, but I can't exactly. I meant to go back and watch it and really learn it, but I haven't had the time to. Anyhow, speaking about Tesla, I know you know this. It concerns dinosaurs. Now, who were the two guys that started to kick this whole thing off? Edward Drinker Cope, and do you know the other guy's name?
John, you're echoing a bit. Wanda is echoing through your speakers.
Oh, God damn it!
No, it's not you, Wanda. It's going through John's speakers.
It's Othniel Charles Marsh, so a guy named Marsh and a guy named Edward Drinker Cope. I mean, and they're Freemasons, and this is where the whole dinosaur started from. All right, what's happened? Am I lost?
No. See, that's what gets me wonder is like dinosaurs. It's fairly easy to prove that they're fake, and the stories behind dinosaurs are fascinating, right?
No.
And yet, even though some people claim to know this, they still would rather sit around listening to people talk about the shape of the Earth. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, why are people still talking about the same shit all this time later when there's other stuff that's barely been scratched? Like the surface has barely been scratched.
You're assuming that everybody is just one-dimensional.
What do you mean?
Well, you're assuming because you witness 10,000 people show up to watch Ghostbusters, that's all they ever do. Globebusters. You assume that's all they do. That's the only dimension they have. Some of them, maybe that's the only dimension they have, but I have many dimensions.
You might, but what about the vast majority of their viewers? Do we have any evidence that any of these people do anything with their lives other than what they used to do, plus listen to these people talk about the same shit they have for 12 months?
Right. I agree with you in that respect. But then again...
Their lives are no different. Most of these people, their lives are no different to what they were before they discovered the Earth is flat. Their lives are no different. They'll tell you, oh, we've discovered peace and love. Watch how they react as soon as someone says, yeah, here's a problem with your flat Earth belief system, they act like minions. They go into like a Pavlovian trained response, name-calling, shouting, banning people, shutting down dissent. These people haven't found peace and love at all.
That's not the first time I've seen this, man. Right? Yeah. This latest manifestation of this is this flat Earth movement in you know, quotation marks. You know, seen it back years ago, right? There was people formed groups about like chemtrails or formed groups about the free man. Same fucking thing. Do you know what we used to call it in the old days, man? We call it woo-woo. Oh, here comes someone else with fucking more woo-woo. We've got the woo-woo brigade in, you know? And it's the same fucking thing. New agey, and then the cultish type behavior and the groups that form and the fucking, you know, the attack dogs on the outside who haven't got a clue, by the way. I call them cheerleaders. They haven't even fucking, you know, they might have maybe looked at 2 fucking videos. They, you know, never mind research, you know, they just look at a couple of fucking, you know, videos and yeah, the Earth is flat as far as they're concerned now. And it's ridiculous. And what I've been witnessing as well, I know there's people out there and they're doing their best. They think they're fucking onto something. But you see it, the bigger group with the agenda is the one that has the most followers. And then, you know, some of them come out of nowhere and all of a sudden they're fucking, you know, the go-to guy. Even though they haven't done any experiments or whatever, and like, how many experiments can you do apart from some obscure guy letting off, you know, weather balloons, and we'll have a look. You know, we haven't seen anything new because it's impossible unless somebody can fucking come up with, you know, some sort of device and say, here we go, we're going to fly up high and we're going to look down. And even then, you know, that could be CGI or whatever. You know, I'm not trying to.
Yet there's some pretty good projects in the works.
I'm just saying, there's an awful lot of certainty out there being exuded by people, where there's no fucking certainty. You know, in fact, the only certainty is that fucking nobody really knows anything unless they're part of the elite that might know something, and that's just me speculating. You know, as far as I'm concerned, your guess is as good as mine. But don't give me this fucking dogmatic bullshit and then have a pile of fucking people behind just cheerleading and going along with it.
Well, they can do that, Del, because they know you're going to tune in. That's the whole point, man. These people get off on attention. I'm amazed how often people are like, oh, this person's a paid shill, that person's a paid shill. I'm like, why do you need to pay these people? Most people get off just on having attention, man. Like, the average person will never have 100 people listening to them live. So if they can go to a channel where they get that every Sunday or every Wednesday, whatever, 100 people listening to them live, for the average person, that's an amazing ego boost, and they love it. They can't get enough of it. They get 5,000 views, they get 10,000 views. That's why they're doing it. It's like, how can you sit here and criticize them for doing that when really you're the one tuning in, giving you the bullshit?
No, hang on. I'm not criticizing anybody, man. I'm actually saying my observations. I'm not judging or criticizing. I'm just actually fucking saying what I see, man. What the fuck is all that noise? It's going back through you.
I'm gonna mute. It is me. I'm gonna check my Logitech.
No, it was going through John there. You know, it wasn't you.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to get going. Today I'm working on this video on Tesla, and I was doing research all yesterday for it. And it's fascinating stuff, so I'm going to go and get that done. It takes me a couple of hours to get these things done, so I'm going to get going. But thanks for having me, Del, and to you as well, Wanda. Best of luck with everything. And maybe we'll speak again soon, yeah?
Yeah, well, just make sure to remember that, you know, we're not criticizing people. We're just fucking observing and saying what we see about it, you know?
Like, yeah, I didn't mean it like that, man. I didn't mean it like, I know you're not judgmental, man. You're a pretty cool guy. What I'm saying is...
Yeah, you're pretty precise in your observation, so, you know, just keep it on the real, you know?
But to me, it's pretty obvious what's happening here. It's like there's a bunch of people who enjoy being watched. There's a bunch of people who enjoy watching them. And so long as everyone's honest about it, there's no problem. The problem is when the people who enjoy being watched pretend they're giving truth, which they're not, and when the people who are watching pretend that they're watching for truth, which they're not. It's the pretense, it's the false pretense. Whereas if everyone was just honest with themselves, if Group A was saying, we're going to do a show because we love the attention, and Group B was saying, we're going to watch your show and give you attention because we love the feelings, hey, I'd have no problems. The issue is these people pretending it's about truth when it clearly isn't. But anyway, I've got to get going, guys. You guys take care of it.
Yeah.
All right, John, before you go. Never mind. He's gone. I just want to say, I'm just trying to navigate my world, and I don't give a shit. I don't, personally, I enjoy chatting with you, Del.
Yeah, and listen, nobody has to answer to John LeBon. He's on his own trip, so if he can't even fucking, stay to just clarify points, well,
he's
that's it.
young. He's young. Give him that.
He's a young lad. I've got fucking son
That's right.
older than him,
Give him that.
He's still
I
a
love
good
that. I applaud it. I think it's wonderful. I like John. It's hard not to like him. Applaud it. It's applaudable. But on the other hand, I'm just out here navigating my world. I'm not in it for views. I'm not in it for, I'm not here to impress anyone, and I'm not looking for a following. In fact, I just weeded through my Facebook friends and weeded out 40 of them, and I only had 230. It got uncomfortably high for me, so now I'm down to 190.
Yeah.
So I weeded out 40, actually. I did pretty good. Because I just want people who are going to be interactive with me and, get what I'm saying and share my message and understand my message and actually give a rat's ass, I don't want followers that, think I'm cute or some bullshit like that, It's not why I'm in it. It's not an ego thing.
I just looking in the chat there, Wanda, and Preacher, I think that's Yvette. Well, there's so many different bloody people, but I think it's Yvette, and she's saying that, I would block somebody. I didn't block anybody that I know.
I never block anyone. It's not my, I don't do that.
I'm just trying to have a look here because I don't know how to block or unblock people. But
I don't either.
I don't know. I'm just going to check this link that she put in.
Okay. You want me? Oh, you still need to post that hilarious freaking meme I sent you.
Yeah, I will. That was pretty weird, just having, John LeBon just popping up and doing this trick.
I'm glad he did because we were talking about him. Well, I was referring to him. I didn't mention his name, but yeah, the whole paywall thing. Careers are being made, and I did say that in one of our conversations from maybe probably better than 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago. It's like, career, he asked some question. I said, well, careers are being made. That's what's happening here. This is what we're witnessing. And sure enough, that's when the Patricia Steer went behind a paywall and Mark Sargent. And it's like, what are you going to get from behind a paywall? They're not going to get out of here.
Yeah, they're all mimicking the business model.
Yes.
Alex Jones and everybody else, since then and before then even. Now, I sussed it out. Yvette, you were right there with, because I remember before, right, Jonathan, I actually been talking to Jonathan since then. But there was a guy that was fucking, I thought it was actually a different fucking avatar. And I clicked on that link and it said unblock user. So I don't know when that happened, but anyway, he's unblocked now. And I actually was talking to him, there you go, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm going to ban you again now in the chat just for the hell of it. No, but seriously, man, that's sorted out there. I had a chat with him in since then, I thought he was one of the stalkers left over from Mammy shit one day. Do you remember all those fucking stalkers I used to get for posting flat earth stuff?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember one significant one.
Which one? Because there has been a few.
RJ.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. That's just what you call fucking
who I think is what the heck is his name on freaking when he's on Hoaxbusters, he's hoop something or other, hoop stretcher.
Oh,
Because you know he's got a serious man love going on.
there used to be a fucking bloody hell. There was one guy, I swear to feck. Do you remember him? He lived somewhere in Israel, but he said he was a Palestinian. But yet he threatened to cut me in half if ever he saw me. Do you remember that dude?
Yeah, that was beyond the pale.
It was beyond the pale, but like, you know, you just take it as feckin', you know, whatever, you know. But anyway, I just shout out to the chat box. I'm just doing this weird thing. I'm not going to mention who I got the idea off, but you know, I'm giving anyone that I know and that I respect a feckin' spanner. So just, you know, keep it real there, you know. So shout out to Dave and Yvette from Free Chan. We'll do a little advertisement. When you're banned from everywhere else, get over to Free Chan and have a good feckin' chat over there. And Jonathan Dougherty, I'm sorry for blocking you, but you're not blocked anymore. And we did have a chat, you know, before that, so it doesn't really matter. And everybody else, Shroom, wee, and Kaka, and all the people from the you know, the Flat Earth community and everyone else. You know, I love a lot of these people. You know, they're just genuine people. You know, they're beyond the fucking psyop that we're all experiencing. You know, they're experiencing the psyop just like us, I think. You know, so.
You know,
Well,
it was good to hear.
does anybody else want to join as well? Sorry, Wanda. Yeah, just
That's
see.
okay. I'm still trying to decipher what John was trying to say. I have to say I'm a little bit confused.
Well, he just, you know, he just goes on a bit, and but at the same time, just had to tell him as well, you know, hang on here. You can't just sort of lump everybody into the fucking thing. There's people who are affected by it. There's people who are fucking part of it, and then there's just the ordinary people, you know, who, well, that's the people who are affected by it. You know what I mean? And to just come in, and you can't do broad sweeping statements. But he did. It was like a sort of a hit there. We'll ask you a few questions and then fuck off again. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm being entertained. Guilty. You know, okay. But I'm just trying to navigate my world. You know, when I'm just saying, you know, Ilbley was filthy mouth, and no man, certainly no gentleman, certainly no decent person would say anything remotely to what he said. I had to shut it down. I'm like, and I seldom do that. I'm just like, oh my God, I clicked out of it. I couldn't even tell you which program it was on, but I knew it was talking about Jeff's wife.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, blame it all on Jeff. Like, Jeff did this. Like, sorry, you're defending the indefensible here. The things that came out of his mouth can't be defended. Anybody who's got his back or thinks that he's got anything good to offer, well, that's a mistake. It's a definite mistake. And then Nathan, whatever his name is, Nathan Oakley, to go, what planet are you on, Wanda? It's like, really? Come on.
Yeah, but honestly, Wanda, the whole thing, we've seen it back and forth, right? Jeff Stewart is an asshole as well.
Yes, and I agree with that.
I'd say that unqualified.
Still, it doesn't condone another man saying what he said, you know, to a woman. I mean,
but
really,
he's been giving shit like for as long as I've seen him on there. He's fallen out with
deservedly so too. One can say.
Yeah, he's fallen out with everybody, and he gave Yvette there from Free Chan a terrible hard time as well. And all it was, you know, it's bullshit. But like, you can say it's bullshit, but then if you're on the receiving end, it's not nice. So, you know, you could say that as well. You know, he was abusive to a woman, before this hillbilly came on the scene and started doing all that shit.
Oh, was he?
You know, oh yeah, you know.
Oh, well, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, you see, that's why I jokingly say, you know, Jeff is like the fucking drill sergeant out of bloody Full Metal Jacket.
Yes, he is.
Just going around shouting and roaring the odds at everybody.
Yes.
But like, and then you have the other, like, do you want me to go through the whole, I'm going to save it for my book.
Well, we all saw him
Really joking.
set up the Morgal, right? Against,
But,
was it the Morgal he was setting up against Nat Carhouse? Powerland? Sorry. Powerhouse.
that as well. Do you remember he was in
Power
the middle of
Station.
all that? That was
Yeah.
another drama. You had Matt Powerland doing
Yes.
his fucking, you know.
That was
crazy.
totally bullshit. I mean, he was
All
definitely
done,
in there
yeah.
making some maneuvers.
Yeah. So, as John LeBon would say, we're talking about the characters.
We're drawn into
I
the
already-
drama. Well,
No, he would say we're drawn into the drama, right?
Yeah.
I've already said that we're talking about bloody characters, but like we're all characters when you think about it, you know. But when
Right.
I'm talking about the characters, you know, in the psyop, you know, these people, are they going in there with their scripts and they're doing this, or are they genuine people in there with grievances? And
are
that's,
they in there to throw a monkey wrench into the situation? So
but that's the
everything gets kerfuckled and nothing gets settled, and you can't even make a point because of all the noise.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's what I would say. You know, it is made up of people who are just genuine and are caught up in all this shit. But like, you can't just go in and go, oh, you're either A, into the entertainment, or B, part of the entertainers, and then
You
That's
can't
just
declare
like-
everybody one-dimensional. I mean, I take offense at that. I have
yeah, that's the
multi-dimensional person, and I assume many people are.
Yeah, well, that's what I've come to classify as the John LeBon. You know, you've either got two choices, A or B, you know?
I suppose you have to pick your front and defend it, but why do you need to pick a front, is what I'd like to know.
I would rather people who actually state what they actually even think, never mind believe, than just asking questions all the time. You know, that got old very quick, you know?
I would just rather people just have an open mind and draw their information from many sources, because this is how you gain knowledge.
Yeah.
Don't, believe anything, learn something.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm in it for, and that's why I listen to even people I do not agree with.
Yeah, that's the wrong fucking link. I was trying
You never know when you're going to pick up a gem. You never do.
Yeah. Hey, we got someone already in the call here, Wanda. We've got
Well, that's nice.
Scarecrow, Caw, the musician man who's a very talented songwriter as well. You know,
How
my,
you
Very
doing,
nice.
DaSkarekrow?
how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Just was hanging out with my brother for the evening, and Cynthia posted this link, and I thought I'd check it out. I've been here for like 20 minutes,
Well,
and
then
I enjoyed the conversation you had with J.O.B. and Wanda,
well,
and I thought I'd join in.
well, cool, man. Go ahead, you have the floor, man.
Oh, I don't have a topic, but I mean, if you pick a topic, I'll join in and give you my insights or opinion,
Yeah.
I guess.
By all means.
Well, if you can hum it, I'll sing it with you.
There you go.
But yeah, man, I just decided to fire up a bloody hangout, just have a chat and stuff. And JLB just appeared. It wasn't like,
Yeah, it wasn't planned or nothing, huh?
No.
Yeah, I didn't plan this either. I just saw the link and I clicked it.
The only plan was I actually sent Wanda a message out, to let her know that I was firing up the chat, because I always love Wanda to join in, because normally, we'd be, if we were chatting on Skype or whatever, Wanda be in the conversation, and that's the way it is. And I was very surprised when John LeBon came in, but at the same time, I welcome him and let him.
I know I'm rather mystified.
Yeah, it's pretty good that it was a civil conversation.
Oh yeah.
No toes were stepped on, and That's how it should be.
There's enough psychotic shit going on in around.
Speaking honestly, you know, and you're, and honestly, I'm not trying to cause any shit. You know, it's like this is just my observations. I'm just trying to figure out who is real. You know, who is, you know, trying to psyop us, or not necessarily even psyop, but take us away from, you know, learning something that may be vital. Because I think it all needs to be pieced together from diverse places. You get this person over here going, oh, Larry and Lawrence are full of beans, and then these other people's like, oh, well, you know, Jared and blah blah blah, this and that, and the other thing. Well, they're this and that, and then you got other people going, well, why are you listening to any of it? Blah 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 blah. People are, you know, and this is my words, one-dimensional, but that's the impression I felt like I was being, like, distant. It's like,
yeah,
you know, you can't categorize. There's a good many people that listen in and don't say anything at all because they're very confused. They're just trying to gain knowledge.
yeah.
You know, it's good that they don't come in with these stupid opinions. Like, so many people are just fanboys. They don't provide anything of any value in their comments. They're just like, hip, hip, hooray! You know, whatever different words they use to express that same thing, or boo, is, you know, it's like, really, so why are you commenting, you know, if you're not trying to contribute something to the conversation? Like, that's what the thumb up, thumb down thing is for, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you can't say what you think without backlash, because somebody gets offended if they disagree with you. You know, I understand there's a forum for that, but the need to attack because you know, if the crowd says something, I disagree. I just disagree. I won't put him down. I won't make him feel less for even saying what he believes. You know, it's just going to be like I agree to disagree. You know,
Right.
and if we're going to talk about it, let's just talk about it, you know, in a civil manner rather than, you know, you're stupid, girl. You know, it's like,
Yeah, there's
why
too much
the
of
attacks?
There's too much of that. You're an idiot. As soon as like someone loses an argument, when you start calling people names, you've lost the fucking argument. End of story. And
Yeah.
I would rather if people can get on. Now, you know, I'm not expecting to get on with people that I actually say that I think they're part of a fucking psyop. I know it's that even sounds weird, doesn't it? But I can see within the community that there are genuine people, you know, present company, you know, included, you know, big time. But I can't help but say what I see, and maybe I'm wrong, you know, I could be wrong, but like fucking hell, you know, I could be right, you know. But I want to know, I want to be able to let people know that I'm not doing it in a bad manner way, or in a you know, in a fucking, you know, a disingenuous way. I'm just saying what I see, and maybe someone can tell me that I'm seeing wrong if, you know, they want to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going around attacking people or following people or making videos about people or anything like that. I'm just happy. I'm quite happy to just interact with anybody. I'll talk to anybody, you know. And you know, I think that 99.9% of us are genuine anyway. It's part of this whole suspicion psyop. Be very suspicious of everybody and all this bullshit, you know. I don't buy into it, you know. So there you go. That's my little thing on it, you know. So.
Yeah, I figure like if I did a video and say, you know, you get offended, you know, if you have a problem, come to me, talk to me. Don't make it a big scene, because it's just that adds more fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that maybe you will get offended if I make a video. I totally understand that. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like, you know, unless it's a vicious cycle, because who's going to cave in? Who's going to stop? Who, you know, who wants to get the last word into,
I have a theory.
trying to be right?
I have a theory. You own the words that come out of your mouth, and you have a choice. You can say, "Yeah, I said that," and apologize because you were a dick and you said some things you shouldn't have said and you rethought it. Or you can say, yeah, I said it. I said it. I actually do feel that way. You know? But you own the words that come out of your mouth. You can't, and you own your mistakes. You can try and, make something that you made public at one time private or retracted or this, that, and the other thing, but you own your mistakes. Nobody wants to face up to that at the end of the day. Well, not nobody, but most people, they try to bury their mistakes and pretend they never happened, and that's a big problem in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we get offended sometimes. We feel like our backs are against the wall and we're, our bark is louder than our bite.
The most empowering words in the world that you can say, even more than I love you, is I'm sorry. And mean it. The most empowering words in the world.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, is this a dramatic silence?
I'm so sorry. I was waiting for Carl to say something, Scarecrow. And
Think about it. Who is it that can't admit ever to making mistakes? People who think that they're the wannabe gods, the rulers over everybody, even if they make a mistake, they will never admit to it. And this is a tragedy. I make mistakes all the time, and believe me, it's the lesson I learned from my ex-husband, who I think is a wonderful man. I'll probably love him to my dying days. He taught me so much, but I used to never be able to admit I made a mistake. And he taught me that through example that it's perfectly fine to admit you made a mistake. It is a very difficult thing to do when you start doing it. But once you start doing it, you see how, and you mean it. You have to mean it. You see how giving that is, and how empowering that is, and how it lifts everyone up, including yourself. That you can go, man, I was a dick, or I made a mistake, or Jesus, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They used to have cards years ago, didn't they?
Probably.
The sorry cards. Remember them? The hardest thing to say is I'm sorry. And that's to get over the fucking ego.
Yep.
You made a mistake, own up to it, and just say I'm sorry. And then the person who forgives you is the bigger person who's been wronged. But that's somewhere to start off from, And
it is. But not with the same kind of deal with the biblical forgiveness, because that's, you're just supposed to blanket forgive when the people don't even have to be repentant, and they will do it again,
See, that's the thing. You just say, forgive. It's the person who you've wronged, the man or woman who you've wronged, who has, I was nearly going to say the power to forgive, but what else can you call it? Well, I suppose you can call it other things. It's getting late here, but it's the person who has been wronged, who actually forgives you when you say I'm sorry. It's and that is another part. It's like a bargain or a contract between the person, because the two people know, the one who has wronged knows that he is wronged. The person who has been wronged knows that he's wronged you or she's wronged you. But if he genuinely apologizes and makes restitution to what,
Amends, yeah.
that's a covenant. There's your covenant there from between.
And that is also the only time that you have true healing.
Yeah.
You can't get past it. Yeah. You can't just go, I forgive you, and then you're over it. It's like waving a magic wand. It does not work that way.
Yeah. So you see, it really is. If somebody is being a dick in the first place, and they're a genuine person, and they're sorry for being a dick, But like this is in the land of fucking trolls and shills and all sorts of bullshit going on, you know.
The land of dick and balls.
Yeah, the land of dick earth and everything else. I'm only joking, but you know what I mean. You know, it takes a big person to say sorry, but it takes a bigger person to actually forgive. And
Yeah.
you know, and as long as the person doesn't do it again, well then, you know, fuck it.
And truly is sorry. I mean, that's a biggie.
Yeah, that is a biggie. You know, and to go back to the beginning, like why would someone do it in the first place? They might fall out with somebody. They might, you know, have a row, and then they might say something that they don't mean, but you know, it hurts, and you know, that kind of stuff. You know, we're talking about like sort of real interaction between people, but this, you know, other stuff of, you know, is a complete fucking red herring to pull us away from, you know, genuine truth.
Yeah.
The Crow and Wanda, see, go on a journey with me for a second.
Okay, I'll walk down the forest path with you.
Okay, so let's just say I'm friends with you and I'm friends with Wanda. But the problem is you two are not friends. You two are at each other's throat. And I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I don't like you anymore if you don't talk to me.
I know.
Don't talk to Wanda anymore, or I'm not your friend.
No, I don't play that. You just respect the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I think that's what I see a lot of times in the, you know, YouTube, you know, community or whatever it is. And I just feel like there's no way around it. It's almost like you can't pick a side and you just have to just stand and watch the gladiators go after it, you know, because
Well,
it sucks for everybody because it forces us to choose a hand. And it's like if I pick Wanda over you, then again you're going to get mad at me and you're going to get upset with me, and well you're wrong just as her, and you might be a troll, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I do know what you're saying, but I don't know what you mean. And Del and I have actually experienced this, where, you know, I have been at odds. I get at odds with people easily somehow, but
yeah,
I get at odds with
you
somebody.
have been at odds, Wanda, but we don't let it go beyond our friendship.
But we respect the boundaries of each other. It's like, you know, it's like you know, it's not a picking a side thing. Okay, I know you don't get along with so and so, so I'm respectful of that. I appreciate that, and you know, I'm still friends with them, and I'm not like, well, you need to choose. I mean, that's all childish stuff, really. You know, I'll either work it out with so and so, or I won't work it out with so and so. But it should not affect. I should not force somebody to choose a side to be a friend with me. You can't be a friend with that person.
Yeah, I totally agree because I feel like, well, you know, the crowd was friends with me before I met, you know, you, and you know, I'm still your friend regardless of our views and opinions.
Precisely.
And so I think that these people are wanting to separate. So
Well, then they're gamers, right?
Can I give you an answer? Sorry, Wanda. Can I just?
Oh, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah, sure. I'm just curious how other feels this way.
No, Wanda. I just want to say this before I forget it, right? But I say to you, Scarecrow, right? If I ever told you not to be friends with somebody else because I had a falling out or I didn't like them, right? I would expect you to tell me to feck off and use your own fucking mind, because the very fact that I'm trying to tell you who to fucking be friends with, that should be an alarm bell. I would never tell anybody not to fucking talk to somebody or interact with them. So
Yeah, but I also know that. Sorry, I also know that there's people that say, well, okay, so you're friends with her, so I'm just gonna stop talking to you because now, you know, whether I don't know if they trust you or if they they're so mad at that other person that they don't want to even be associated with you. You see what I'm saying? There's so many elements into this whole division that is being forced upon us. There's a lot of scenarios that is really implemented into divisions.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like, well, okay, so you're friends with Wanda, can't talk to you no more. And it's like, well, you were friends with me already. So what? I haven't changed. I'm still cool. You're still cool. I still think Wanda is cool. And so just we can't all three be in the same place, because it's going to cause drama.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, people who are into drama create drama. People who are not, generally, are not going to have a conflict between each other. Like how some people, we used to say this about my mother. My mother was a psychopath, by the way. She's dead. But we used to say, the woman is not happy unless she's not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I think, I like some people, I used to think my brother was like, he's not happy unless he has drama in his life.
That's it.
And it's like he goes like a seesaw. He takes a break, and then he comes back and wants, like, what are you doing? This is not good for you.
Yeah.
And so you kind of like a addiction.
It's difficult to say if these people just haven't learned something better, or if it's part of just what they are. It's part of the shuffling of the deck and the archetypes.
Yeah, like I did a show, not a show, but a video called Character. There's, and you were saying earlier about your words, and that's what I was talking about in the video was, man, if somebody talks a certain way to you, that says a lot about them. There's a reason why this person swears. There's a reason why they put you down. There's a reason why they're attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
When I get mad, I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to put you down. I'm going to, now I'm not saying I have never, because I have put my back against a wall and I feel threatened. Then I go, okay, now you're going to treat me that way, then I'm going to treat you that way.
We all do.
So I mean, I'm not saying I'm an innocent bird, but I'm guilty of that. But most of the time, I let my words be my action, and I will bite my tongue more often than not. I will let that person have that little outrage.
Yeah.
But I feel that, like you said earlier, Wanda, that, if you are acting this way, then there is a little side of you I do not know. And I should be more worried of how you are now, because it really shows a little side of your colors. And that's character.
Yes.
Not character like I'm acting a part, but character in who you are.
Yeah.
And so I get scared because these people that I don't know them personally.
I saw that video, man, and I thought that exactly what it was. It was that you were addressing people who you might have known or whatever, but you were saying your piece.
Yeah, because some of these people are my friends.
Yeah.
And
I
so
understand that, and you're very popular among all the groups of
yeah, I even got Globers are my friends, and what, I can't hang out with them. It's like it puts me in a birdcage, all these puns, huh?
You're beyond the fucking cult, man. You're fucking your own person,
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm watching like someone in the chat said, it is a reality. I'm watching a reality that
you're part of it, but you're also outside.
Interactive. Yeah, I'm interactive of these things, and I feel like I want to reach out to everybody and just say, listen, like, we're all upset, but don't be upset at each other because we're on the same page. It just, we disagree on other things that just, and I agree. Like say somebody, call my girlfriend. Let's say I don't have a girlfriend, but let's say I had a girlfriend, and they called her a name.
Let's
Yes,
say you
I'll
don't
get.
have a girlfriend and you're 60 years old. Sorry.
Yeah,
I had to get that
yeah.
out there.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, either way is how you handle it.
Yeah.
It's I've learned that if somebody's gonna treat me that way, I'm gonna cut them off. Right off it's a red flag for me to say, yikes, I cannot have that negative in me.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna bring me down. I mean, I already deal with other pressures, and so when I hear people treat me that way, I definitely push back in a way of keeping my distance from them.
Or conversely, how many of us have friends that are, I have friends. I have, well, a dear friend. In fact, my sister, is my best friend, and she's always so affected by her little snippy girlfriends who refuse to wake up, but they have the answer to everything, even though they've researched nothing, and believe everything out of the mainstream media, and vote and think that police are grand, and and can't understand, and think that cops have dangerous jobs, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, Joanne, please understand. Put this in perspective. It's like, yourself, and you're lowering yourself to let their opinions, mean that much to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not so much trying to be disrespectful to them, but I mean, you can't even be involved enough in your world to get genuine information that, you're running on your programs. You're running on programs, and you're just being snippy and very small and very backstabbing. Are you just trying to? These people are trying to injure you, and you're letting it affect you. Why?
and that's why I feel like, people that complain about, well, they have a clique, they have a circle. Well, I would too if people are attacking me from every angles of the circle.
The circle in the wagon, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect
Otherwise,
example.
you lose it. If we
Yeah.
didn't, we're all on the internet because, our world is pretty small, and many of us, myself, for a long time, was very lonely. The only outlet I had for people that would agree with me was one personal friend. Everybody else in my life alienated me. I only had the internet. That's all I had. Well, now that's broadening, that people are finally waking up, but still it's very lonely out here. And so you do need to reach out, or you're going to lose your cookies, simply enough. Because we're not solitary as much as we like to think we are. Just as like, like denying that men and women are a monogamous species. You know what I'm saying? We're not monogamous, because even though, marriage, we go through many marriages, and marriages turn out to be a failure, we still do it. So what does that say? That says that we're not like rats, just go around and mate, and this and that people want to stick together. It flies in the face of saying that we're not a monogamous species. We need to be our nature.
You see, Wanda, that's how they manage to manipulate and control us. Because
Precisely.
the social engineering and whatever, and no matter what we think we know, these fakers have been analyzing human behavior as long back as they could actually, pronounce it and articulate it. And this is the result of it now. I think it's fucking great that people can actually fucking talk about it and actually point out what's going on, because that flies in the face of what they're trying to do. They want everybody, tucked into a box and kept in a little camp or little fucking tent. Forget about FEMA camps. The camps are the people fighting against each other over ideologies, whether true or false, but they're injected into the fucking narrative, and they just wind them up and let it fly. And that's what I honestly think we're witnessing in real time. I don't know. Maybe I'm too.
Oh no, I mean this is why in Christianity, I remember being in the church, a Baptist church. I mean a Lutheran church, and if you leave the church, they won't be associated with you no more. You know,
Yeah, that's it.
and if you're shunned, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
you know,
excommunicated.
yeah, exactly. It's like, well, you know who I am. I haven't changed. I am still the same person. I just disagree with, certain aspect that you're teaching, and that's what's happening. That's the social experiment. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Well,
Because
the Bible gives it to you sideways because, there's no man creator of everything. If anything, the universe is a giant womb. So the zero came before the one.
Yeah. And don't forget carbon and the atomic number, for what it's worth,
666.
is 6. And yeah, we're just a bunch of carbon bipeds.
Yeah. And the 72 virgins
Figure out
is
what's going
66
on. Yeah.
plus 6. 72 virgins. 66 plus 6. It's like they're throwing this in our face. And all right, the whole Satan of the Bible, in my opinion, we're Satan. We are being trained to hate and fear ourselves. The Bible and government are anti-nature. Fooney's in the
I know he is. I sent him a message on Skype
told him to come in.
when he resurrected, but he's very what would you call it? Google Hangout phobic. But I'll try to get him on Skype and see.
So you were Methodist, Scarecrow. Is that what you were saying, Methodist?
oh no, I don't have a denomination now, but I used to go for Lutheran.
Oh, Lutheran.
Yeah, Lutheran. I used to, and that's up to everybody I talk to, and this is why Christianity has 33,000 or whatever number denominations.
Yeah, it's all
and the Bible said there's, God is not the author of confusion, but the readers are so lost.
Yes.
And so
I can go on about the Bible forever. My stars. And that's Fooney's topic too as well. He's very well versed on that. If you would only come in.
Yeah, and so like if so many people can get confused about certain aspect of the Bible, imagine, just where we live.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and here's the thing about Christians that I find is, and when I was raised in Catholic schools, this, that, the other thing, and it's like, when did this whole Christian thing crop up? It's like all of a sudden everybody say Christian. I never even heard that term. I'm 60 years old, but I never even heard that term until maybe 15 years ago with the religious right and this, that, and all of a sudden everybody is a card-carrying Christian, because it was never, why does Christ have to be manifest in the flesh? That's taking, the Christ, which is the anointed one, outside of yourself. The Christ should be a part of you. It shouldn't. Why does it have to be that this guy walked the earth, and they're all so hung up on that? Oh, Jesus Christ walked the earth. That's real history, which can't be proved, and it doesn't make any sense because there were like no less than 17 previous, messiahs that came to the earth, died on the cross. Summer solstice, winter solstice, Easter eggs, and this and that and the other thing. Why is it important that he lived when he's, the Christ is inside of you? It's externalizing everything, and it's backwards. And you can show the Christians, you can show them chapter and verse that shows them every contradiction that's in there, but they won't look at it, but deny that you're right. And unfortunately, that isn't just shills in the room deflecting you from the conversation. Oh, there's a fair amount of those, but it's it's everybody because it's so well indoctrinated into people.
Yeah, I consider myself Christian personally. I know I left Lutheran, and I even went to Baptist and all that, but personally I still uphold my faith. Whether it's strong or not is, I guess, is neither here or there. But I think it's still the journey we all, some of us are still going through.
I think
And
that all roads lead to there. Wherever we're
it's
going, we're gonna get there.
yeah, and so I'm still searching and relying on my faith. So, and that's all I can do. And I just don't think that what I believe should be known as fact. Because then it wouldn't be faith.
I don't even like the word faith. I've done a fair amount of studying of the Bible, and I'm not getting in your face or anything like that. But
Oh yeah, I'm well.
I know that there's a God. I know that. Well, I don't say I know that there's a God, but there's something that's here that is here for us. But then you have the Bible, and it's defining us and telling us what it is. I don't think it's that God at all. It's not that. Because that's not a loving God. That's the freaking monster. It's a mass murdering megalomaniac. It's actually it's the Bible God is the collective will of the Jew. So I have to say it because if you look at it, it is it's God and His chosen people that are breaking all the commandments and killing, murdering, raping, enslaving people, human and animal sacrifice, pedophilia, extortion. Pretending to be people they aren't, inbreeding, you name it. And all Satan does is tempt. I mean, he doesn't even actually sin. What I like to ask people who are Bible thumpers is, then show me some biblical evidence that Satan is or does evil. And to date, none of them have been able to do any of that. They come up with the story of Lot, but I'm sorry, a house falling on some people, that's considered an act of God. So you can't pin that on Satan. He didn't really do that. And they tell you the story about Jesus being tempted in the desert. And, well, sorry, but Satan said, I'll give you this whole thing. Look over the mountainside. It's all yours if you only throw yourself at, and worship me. And Jesus said, maybe he said, get behind me. I think I'm misquoting that. But, Satan's just like, hey, man, I just thought I'd put that out there. It's cool. It's cool. Have a nice day. You didn't torture him. You didn't throw him off the cliff. You didn't threaten him. You didn't make him. I think it was basically going, hey, see how ridiculous this is? When you die, you're out of here. You don't take any of it with you. So what can you actually own? And, okay, and this is probably the most key one. Everybody confuses Satan, Lucifer, the devil, and the serpent as the same thing, and they're four distinct entities. Okay, it was the serpent that was in the garden with Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve, even works too, though. Okay, it was the serpent that came between Adam and Eve. And what is the serpent? The serpent is a penis, or what issues from the penis, which would be the seed or the bloodline. Satan wasn't there. If you reread Genesis, Satan was not in the garden. Anytime they refer to the serpent, they're referring to the penis or the bloodline. Now, Lucifer is the light, and that's the morning sun, or Venus in other stories. But, should we fear the morning sun? No. It frees us from the darkness. Okay? It brings hope and life and chases away the monsters. Now, the devil, for you are of your father, the devil. He was a murderer and a liar from the start. The devil is a false accuser and a liar. Okay? And the devil is the Jew. Okay? And then you have Satan. Satan is the opposer. Now, if you've got two brain cells to rub together, you realize that you should be opposing this evil, murderous, narcissistic, insane God if you have two brain cells to rub together. And I'm pretty firm about that. And nobody's been able to, show me any instances that proves that Satan is or does evil from the Bible, from a biblical aspect. And I'm done.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with those insights that you've expressed. Yeah, I again, it's like, for instance, like that's like somebody telling me a month ago where Lucifer is a female. You know what I mean? Now I don't know if it's true or not. I
Lucifer
don't.
simply means light, basically. Lucifer
Yeah,
means light. In the olden
but
days, we had safety
I mean, I
matches.
think like
Lucifer,
but they put everybody like Lucifer and saying they were
they
giving
do.
and so again like that to me is neither here or there if that's a female. You know, whether the serpent was Satan or not, Eve, Adam, they still fell. That I'm just like I'm more concerned about like the creator, you know, like, and that's the struggle and all for me personally. Like I said, my faith is not strong, and I believe there is a creator. I have accepted a creator, and I am who I am. I still am the person today because of him. And I don't know. I mean, to each their own, I guess. I mean, because I, I can definitely totally understand where you're coming from. I definitely can understand when an atheist would tell me there is no God, because I had those doubts.
I'm not saying there's no God.
No,
I'm
no,
not
I'm not
saying.
saying. I'm saying atheists. I can
Oh,
understand atheists believing in no God. I can believe even people that thought there were aliens. All these things. These are we all have choices. Like it's like a buffet. All these choices we can choose.
we can choose, but there's no judgment.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why I don't judge an atheist. I have friends that are atheists. My best friend, used to be an atheist. And I was still his friend.
Well, I went atheist for a while. Once I figured out the Bible is backwards and inside out and upside down, well, I went atheist. I'm like, well, there is no God. And then, life comes along and teaches you, because this is the true meaning of No Child Left Behind, because you will repeat the classes until you get the lesson. Okay, and, well, everything just went wacky toothpicks for me, and I was at my wit's end. I prayed to a God that I was certain did not exist. My prayer got answered all the same, so something's going on here. But I guarantee you, and pardon my French, it ain't the God of the Bible. That is a false light. They wouldn't tell us the real thing. Well, who are the publishers of the world, first of all? And how does that book wind up in every room and how is it searching for the truth when it's in every motel room the world over, for Pete's sakes? Is that a search? Is that a real search? It's good to read it. There's wisdom in there, but it's occulted. There are truths in there, but they're higher truths. I keep making statements where there's just nothing but silence after I'm done talking.
Yeah, no, I again, like I've had so many doubts. Like my faith is not strong, say, as somebody else. Like one of my friends is very strong in their faith, and I respect that because I wish I had that kind of strong belief, and I just don't.
I don't respect it, because that's what's killing the world. I mean, because
But I think
nature
but I
will
mean,
teach you.
I I understand, but that this person is very loving, very caring, doesn't hurt anybody, is not killing people, is
I
not
agree.
lying.
You're
So
right.
I mean,
I'll give
so
that to you.
some
You're
people,
absolutely right.
like again, I like to think I'm okay, dude. I'm nice. I do have some flaws, but overall, I don't, I don't drink as heavily as I used to. I don't smoke as much as I used to. All of these are a good qualities to have.
You make a great point. I can't argue that. And you're absolutely right. And I actually do see those are the Christians who've got their heads screwed on right. They're not the ones that are out there cursing you all to hell, being ignorant, refusing to look at things, denying
Yeah, I
things
mean,
are real.
I totally agree because I know Christians that will say, oh, you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
They're already condemning you people, and I know what the Bible says, and I just can't make that judgment. I'm not equipped to even make that judgment. And I just, again, this is my journey,
There,
and
I can think of one guy in particular who is a Facebook fellow man. Doug, well, you know who I'm talking about, fellow man. Nah, he's the kind of Christian I don't worry about, because he's totally righteous. He's not a phony baloney. I mean, he lives in Christ. The Christ is in him, and he is in Christ, and he lives it. He believes all that Bible stuff, and I can't fault him because I see nothing that's hypocritical about him. He lives his faith. He lives it. Cannot fault the man, and I would trust him with everything. He's not phony. He's not a back sniper, a small-minded, petty person. He lives it. And I know quite a few Christians like that, and those are not the ones I do battle with. I do with the ones that show up in church early on Sunday morning, and they always had to get in the front rows.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, like that's like saying all flat earthers should be amazing, upstanding people. They're not going to be. All Christians are not going to be. I mean, look at the Christian Crusade. There are going to be bad apples. I mean, I know Catholic. I used to went to a Catholic school, and that religion, I can't understand at all.
Oh, I agree.
And so again, I mean, to say, that, well, to be a Christian, everybody should be perfect. It's like, no, because guess what, Wanda? I have weakness. Tomorrow I could get drunk. It's not because I'm a Christian. It's because I'm a human being. I have issues. I got insecurities. I have struggles. I have depressions. Yeah, I have depression.
Is God going to bring it through, or is it going to be you going, I've got to get my shit together, pull myself through this thing?
Exactly. And that's why it's my journey. This is my, like the cross said, it's a path. And so I can't say the next Christian will not lie to you. I can't say that. Do I think that person is a bad person? No. Because
there are many bad people in Christianity, however.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like Joel Osteen. Look how much money he's making.
Oh, please.
So I totally see where you're coming from. And again, I can't control those people, but I tell you what, if I told you something real personal, you'll say, aha, I knew you were not perfect, Christian. Well, guess what? I never said I was.
He is perfect, and I firmly believe there's no sin, there's only error, and that is how our loving Creator teaches us. It's your errors, because sometimes the only way you're going to learn something is by keep making the same mistake, until you learn your lesson, the true meaning of no child left behind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like what the Bible says. A few things. You can. You want to judge me? Judge me by my fruits.
Yes.
Like DaSkarekrow. I'm happy DaSkarekrow saw my video and show. When I was talking about character, that tells me that he. Pay attention to what I'm trying to, convey, want to say. But I'm still doubting. Like, there's a Bible verse that says, I believe, but please help my unbelief. It sounds like a contradiction, but no. I believe, but I still have doubts. So, we have these inclination that Christian must walk the perfect walk, and well, you're not Christian because you're not this, so let's stone you, and you should be crucified just like the rest of them. And
it's comply.
Yeah,
and that's what's wrong with Christianity.
Yeah, but I am just again a label. Like I say I'm a Christian, but it's like a gumbo, That's why there's so many denominations within Christianity. I'm not saying I have the best, denomination, because I don't have a denomination. I just believe. And so, You know,
Well, yeah, I know you believe in a loving God, okay? And most people do, and I certainly do. And certainly, when you look to nature, you know, the only chaos that's in nature is what we humans throw in there because we're so goddamn confused, right? Okay, the loving deity that most people hold in their minds is if they read the Bible and really read the Bible with a mind to understanding it, and it took, and believe me, I studied it for decades before I realized this. That's not the God that people are holding in their minds. I mean, when I was a young child, I was terrified of God. We're supposed to wait in joyful anticipation for God's will to be done on earth. And when will His will be done on earth? When He's destroyed 2/3 of it. And if He's the creator of it, if He's not a destroyer God, why is He destroying 2/3 of His creation?
well, I mean, that to me, I look at it this way. Let's take a human being. We'll name Ralphie. Ralphie just killed 100 people, right? Did God kill those 100 people, or did Ralphie? No, Ralphie did. Now
But God
Ralphie,
knew that Ralph was going to kill 100 people,
but
so.
Ralphie's not a robot, right? You're not a robot. You have choices.
Well, where's the free will, though?
The
If
free
you don't
will
worship
is
God, you are burning in the fires of hell for eternity. And where's the love if that's happening?
okay. You know, that's a good point. Where I look at this is just me. The free will is okay. I visit your house, Wanda. You tell me no smoking, but you can smoke outside.
Nah, I tell you, fired up.
Okay, that's good. No, but I mean, okay, you won't. Let's say you say no smoking at all. I have to respect you, right? I have to respect you because it's your home. You are that, the ruler of that temple, your place, your house, your sanctuary, correct?
Understood.
Okay, so if you hate smoking, let's say hypothetically, you hate smoking, I'm pretty sure you'd be upset if I started smoking in your house.
Yeah.
Because it's just the creator made a rule. Thou shalt not murder.
Right.
Okay, so if you're going to get mad at me for smoking in your house, why shouldn't a creator get upset if somebody broke a rule?
Understood. Now, understand me. And have you read the Bible? I will preface. Have you?
Yeah. I can't say I wrote every chapter, but I wrote most of it. Yeah.
We need to visit evilbible.com, okay? It's very easy to remember. Hello. Very easy to remember. Evilbible.com. Okay, now, if I'm telling you don't smoke in my house, but I'm sitting there smoking, and I tell you don't murder, but I'm murdering left and right, you know, what's going on here? That's what the Bible God is doing, and I swear to God,
yeah, but
read the book. That's what's happening.
yeah. All the things you're saying, I've heard before. I understand where you're coming from. Like if I told you things in my personal life, you would think, why do you even believe in a God at all? Okay, not just a God, my
Because
God.
we experience God.
But
That's why.
but I'm just saying, why do you? I have people that I know that don't believe a God at all because of what they went through. You see, because like, well, if a God does this, no baby should die. If a God does this, no person should be raped. If a God, you know what I mean? But okay, to answer your question, He's the creator, and I might not understand His ways. I might not understand His
See, that's
understandings.
apologist. You know,
No,
no.
I don't, because He created me. Like when my mom had me, right?
See,
My mom had me. I was born, right? Well, guess what my mom did to me?
what'd your mom do to you?
She gave me up.
But she had you. You were
No,
birthed through a
but
woman.
but
Now
I'm
you
saying
want to make a man the creator? You weren't. No
but she
on earth
she
was.
had he, her and my father created me.
That's right.
And so she made the choice. She thought it was the right thing to do to give me up.
And do you think
Now,
it's right to honor her? Because that's a commandment.
yeah,
You're supposed to honor her.
oh yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm not mad at her. I'm not.
I'm mad at my mother.
But
She
I mean,
died 3-4 years back, and I still have not shed a tear for her. I say good riddance. She was a psychopath.
yeah, I can't say I love my mom, but I respect and like, okay, that's how,
I relate I relate to
yeah,
that.
I have to understand, your actions. And I mean, the life is a huge social experiment, let alone what we believe in.
But you're
I
told
can't,
to honor her,
yeah,
by that very weak commandment. Why are
yeah.
you supposed to honor a woman who would just assume, trade you for, a rock of cocaine? You may as well say, because that's what we're getting down to these
Yeah,
days.
but again, we all have our vices, our addictions, and
Regardless,
I remember when I was an alcoholic. Okay, I did bad things. Now, did that really express who I was? No, 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 no. I was
no,
just
it
happy.
doesn't. But I
Yeah,
don't. I hardly think that you would throw your child in a dumpster or trade your child for a rock of coke, or
yeah,
something like that.
but that's the drug is evil, because we addiction is hard. People lost many families over gambling. And
Actually,
to,
the power is always in your head and always has been there. Addiction is in your head, and that's been
oh yeah,
proven.
oh
You
yeah. I
know
mean,
it's been proven. So they give you these 12-step programs where you're supposed to give it over to God, and then you always have this weakness because you're always putting the power outside of yourself.
again, like I lost 100 pounds on a diet. Okay, I I I had to do the work. I had to
That's right.
exercise every day. Everything I ate, I had to be religiously, no pun intended, had to watch what I eat. I
Almost
had
50
to,
pounds.
and so again, some people might say, "Well, bless God for giving me all this." I said, like, no,
Yeah,
I'm glad I have the opportunity,
I
you
did
know,
that.
because I could have been dead. I
That's
was
right.
so heavyweight, and again, I glorify God by giving me another chance, because I could have been dead easily, because I was not taking care of my body or my temple. The spirit within me, was breaking down because the body can carry itself. And
Again,
so, and
I'm
so,
not saying there's no God. I'm just
oh
saying.
no, no, yeah, I'm not saying you are. I'm not. I'm just saying, trying to express why I think the Creator, you know,
Is a man.
yeah, not or I don't know.
Your first
Is-
teacher was a woman, and whether she's good or bad, she was your first teacher.
yeah,
And the universe may be considered a giant womb, and the zero did come before the one. And when you look at the letter I, the big I, okay, now think about this. The big I, okay, that's the 9th letter. The big I, that's the number of ego, okay? And if I could explain this, I really need to learn how to explain this eloquently. Like any number that you multiply by 9, like 2 times 9 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay, it returns to 9. Any number you add to 9, something like that. But you can follow my drift. I'm not that eloquent in explaining that part, but 9 multiplied just is the number of ego. Multiplied, it just returns back to ego. It just creates more ego. And in addition, it just returns to itself. Ego is ego. But the small letter in I is it's a line with a dot on top. And you know what that is? That's the penis and yoni. That is the reality of life in this realm. Okay, it's all the ios, ios, the I and the O, the penis and the yoni. And you ever? How many times have you gone to type the word "it" and you have your finger on the wrong thing and you're typing io, right? That's not by accident. This is the controllers of our reality trying to clue us into what is real, but at the same time feeding us a bunch of malarkey, like that God is a male, and I'm not even saying God is a female. That's not what I'm saying. We're saying God is an energy. The energy is always been here, and we're a part of that energy evolving, and the sky is the limit. The sky may very well be the limit, but that we created this realm, and we're all pieces of God, individuated. This is God. We are all God experiencing itself. How much more of a beautiful reality is that than thinking that we need to be slavishly worshiping something? If left on your own with no Bible that tells you need to be humble, this, that, and the other crap and thing, would you just be like fishing in a stream and going, all of a sudden falling on your knees going, oh my God, I need to be humble and lower myself and beg for forgiveness for something? You wouldn't, would you?
Let's say, well, if I hurt you and it made you cry and I did something wrong.
It's different.
Well, I mean, to you it is, I guess. I mean, but again, if I feel this way, then I feel this way. I understand what you're saying, because I mean, I've been there. I've been there. This is nothing new. This is not my first rodeo. I've been there. I lashed out at God. I have done that. I have been to the point where if the creator ain't happy with me, whoever it is, so whoever the creator is in general, he or she is not happy with me, not only with what I have done in my life or what I'm doing with my life or what I said in my life.
Well,
I
know
think
that which created us gave us all a sense of right and wrong, and we all know when we're doing wrong, and we all strive to do right. And I just don't happen to believe that the Bible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not.
Creator of all.
I would never say you have to. You have that choice. I never said you have to believe.
But there is a God.
If I wake up tomorrow and I die in my sleep, well, that's not possible. If I wake up and die, let me rephrase it. If I die in my sleep and I wake up in heaven or whatever, paradise, and I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
It doesn't matter if you're wrong or right.
Yeah, and then I'm okay with that. But I'm still happy in how I turned out to be. I came a long way, and I still got a long way to go. And each day I'm going to still be kind. I'm still going to try to be respectful. Yes, I'm going to say things that will upset people. Yes, I'm going to make mistakes that I shouldn't. Maybe I get caught up in drama and have to pick sides. Yeah.
Do you feel like it ends? Do you feel like it ever ends? Like it's...
Oh, life is life. Whether I get in an argument with my mother or my brother or my friends.
No, I mean, do you think that there is a place called hell? Do you think that there's a place called heaven? Or do you think it's all happening right here?
I think there is another realm, personally. Just because I just think that, when I see, like, my grandpa, who's had the heart of gold.
But what if in the next, consciousness you pop into, instead of being a grandpa, he's your wife, or you're a woman and he's your husband? I mean, it could be just an eternal play. It could all be happening right now. I mean, I think it's worthwhile to examine other cosmologies, because we get locked into that, mind fuck of a book that was written by Jews, and it defines so many people's lives, and then you have a world that's worshiping Israel instead of what is real. And when you think that you know all the answers because that book's providing it for you with scripts, when you believe you have the answers, you don't look for answers.
Can you say that again? I'm trying to. Can you say that, please, again? Sorry.
Sorry, I just didn't held a little bit of my beverage. Yes, I can. See, the belief in the Bible has people locked into this thing where they believe. And when you believe in something, you stop searching for answers because you possess all the answers you need to know. So you stop looking.
Hey, Wanda, do you think I stopped looking?
No, I don't think you have.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
okay,
I'm
okay.
not talking about you.
All right. Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, like, I
And we should
definitely
always
agree.
be questioning.
Yeah, I think we all should be questioning. I think even with this flat Earth, I think those people that have accepted it are people that has been looking for, the truth. What is the truth?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing at all. I again, it's struggle, and I wish I could have total peace of mind, because even though I've accepted flat Earth, I still struggle with that concept because I feel like, okay, what happens if I am wrong? Maybe I feel like, a bit more than I can chew because I shouldn't struggle if I just accept it as truth. You know what I mean?
I don't believe there are consequences to being wrong.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
are wrong. That's all. And you no child left behind. You will continue to develop as long as it takes. If it takes forever. But heaven, can you describe it?
That's a good question. No, I can't since I've never been there. I don't have. Uh, I mean, if I use my imagination, I could, but I can't describe it. No, the Bible tells me that no man, can't. It's going to be more than we even think. So if I think it's like, you know, the best food in the world, it's going to be the best mac and cheese or whatever, because I love mac and cheese, and I'm having it, tomorrow, homemade
I
with
love mac and cheese.
extra sharp with a little touch of pepper jack, people, and a
We got a
mustard.
place here called mac and cheese, and they got 4 different kinds of mac and cheese. Oh my God, it's a die for you. You feel like your arteries are hardening as you're like
I know, I
plowing
know.
the goddamn thing.
It's my favorite food, so. But yeah, I can't describe it, and
Right.
if there is heaven, I hope I'm welcome.
Well, what if you are in heaven? And actually, Jesus did say, you know, I tell you, the kingdom of heaven is laid out right in front of you, but you will not see it. Right? Um, you cannot define a better heaven than this place. I've had some very wonderful years of my life. I've traveled the world. I've lived like I was wealthy. I mean, I certainly never wanted anything, and I certainly had enough money to do anything that I wanted to, and the world was open to me, and I did an awful lot. And then on the same hand, I can describe no more hellish hell than this place. I mean, like if hell, then you can find that the thing you hate the most. Well, okay, maybe I'm terrified of bugs, so maybe having bugs and worms crawling on me would be very terrifying. But at some point, bugs and worms crawling on me would cease to be terrifying. So there's no more perfect hell than this place, and no more perfect heaven than this place. It's all happening right here, right now. We're in heaven, but it can
Yeah,
also be hell.
uh,
This is our realm. This is our playground. This is where we come to live, to experience.
yeah. I know there's going to be a new Earth, so I mean, you're going to have to live in the new Earth.
I can see that because we're going to bring it on. We're
Yeah.
going to bring it on because we can't live with these psychopathic rulers
Yes.
that have, that's just logic. That's got to go. And when we do, then we'll experience a golden era, which I'm kind of reluctant to say because that's Masonic, and I hate using Masonic terms.
Yeah. Those Masonic people, huh?
Yeah, bastards. they taint everything. And when I say taint, I mean the area between the balls and the anus. You know, I'm sorry, but they're just that vicious. They're just that vile. They're just that sweaty and smarmy and ugh, disgusting.
Is DaSkarekrow still around?
Well, you know, I'm wondering. You know, he might just be asleep. Del, you know, he does that. You have to know Del. He'll do that.
He likes to
He's still with them.
He likes to take power naps doing hangouts.
Well, you know, he's in Ireland, and if it's 12 o'clock here, my gosh, it's 5 in the morning in Ireland.
Hey, Del.
Deli. This is hilarious. Oh, and here I have a message from Fooney on Skype. Sorry, Wanda, there's no button or feature to press to join that voice chat. I can only type into the chat box. And that was at 11:46, which was almost 15 minutes ago. Damn it. And I'm pretty certain Dell's asleep. I'm just going to type a message here to Fooney.
Good night, Big K.
Yeah, you know, I've been friends with Del for 4 years now. He's a wonderful man. I think he's fabulous. Big K, who's Big? Oh, Big K.
Yeah, he was in chat. He's a good friend of mine. He likes to wrestle me.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, listen, I have Del, wake up. He might not wake up.
Did he go to? Maybe he's cooking something and just walked away, or I don't know.
He's probably tired. No, he is. No, he's talking to me about Ogner. Okay, all right. Okay, well, all right. Give me a second here. I'm gonna say he needs to get back to his chat here.
Do you believe in flat Earth?
Yes.
I got a new song. If you want to hear it.
I'd love to.
It's the song I put out today on my channel. You don't have to listen to it right now, but you get a chance. It's called Flat Earth Love. It has Dina Walker, who did an amazing job. She did a fab. So yeah, please check it out.
I will. I definitely will. I just came across a great Flat Earth song and I shared it to my Facebook, and unfortunately, not a single person liked it. What is the deal with people?
Thank
you, Del. It's good to hear from you, bud.
Yeah,
I thought you fell asleep.
I know.
We thought you were asleep.
I let the 2 years at it, and you know, I was. I won't tell you the whole story, but yeah, I'm still here, and but I was thinking of winding this thing down because the time, you know what I mean? It's fucking, you know, it's late here, but it was lovely fucking having you join there, Scarecrow, and Wanda, you know, you know, it was lovely. You know, me and you are a team anyway, so
yeah, we always been cool with each other. We just don't have a chance to talk to each other as much as I would like to, actually. But thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And listen, the next time I fire up one, you know, you'll see it anyway if you're.
Now I want to fire up one. Scarecrow, leave your link to your song, and I will definitely put it on my Facebook. You know, for what it's worth. You know, you lead people to, you know, the most brilliance in the world, and you know how it goes. But I enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, keep listening to Scarecrow stuff because it's fucking brilliant.
Well, give me a link. I just only met him tonight, and I think, you know, we don't agree on everything, but we don't disagree on everything either. I think we can learn quite a lot from each other.
Yeah, let me find a song. DaSkarekrow, you know Dina Walker?
Yeah, I've known her since the time when she was on like fucking what's his name, Fulford, Benjamin Fulford's thing, Yeah, she's been around a long time.
Yeah,
She's cool. Yeah.
my song I did today, or I put out today, has her on it, so I thought you might like it too.
Yeah, I already heard it, man. You're in my
Oh,
subscriptions. Yeah.
awesome! Awesome.
Yeah, I'll leave the link in the description box if I ever get around to fucking making a description of this. But I tell you, you know, it was great just having this spontaneous thing, and I'll tell you, I was most surprised that JLB appeared. Now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It wasn't as a planned fucking narrative or anything like that, right? And yeah, well, you can believe what just like, you know, people out there. But I'm saying that was just fucking weird, you know, because the only person I sent a message to was Wanda, you know.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
No, I think it goes out when you are doing a live event. I think it goes out when anyone happens to be subscribed to you.
Yeah, anyone who's subscribed, you know, they come around. And that's the weird thing. I've noticed that on this one, you know, like 12 thumbs down and 6 thumbs up. That's so
I love
weird. Somebody is annoyed. Maybe we shouldn't have free speech, Wanda. What do you think?
Yeah, I think free speech needs to go out the window.
Yeah, well, effectively
You know,
good.
just expressing an opinion, just, you know, kicking ideas around, that needs to go by the wayside.
There you go. Well, listen, I'd love to keep it going for longer, but I'm going to have to shut it down. And I'll say yet again, thanks, Wanda, and thanks, Crow, for coming in. And
I put that link on the group chat, Wanda.
Awesome.
Okay, I just wanted to say that.
Let me see if I can find it.
Thank
I'm
you.
not finding it.
It's in the group chat, or you want me to put it on the main chat?
No, I'm looking in the. Oh, I don't understand. Oh, okay. Yes,
yeah, the chat in here. Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a rube here. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. All right, sorry. You can close it down, shut it down. See you around.
Yeah, and listen, man, if you're on Skype as well, send
Yeah,
a,
I am.
send a Skype contact so that you know.
Absolutely.
Are you just DaSkarekrow? I'll send you one.
I'm just Delquat 2012.
Okay.
And I'm just Wanda O'Reilly.
I'm Wanda O'Reilly.
All right. I will add you too. Thank you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed chatting with you, bud.
Yeah.
You're for real. You're not a Christian I worry about.
Good people. You know, good people.
Yes. All right.